Hello, everyone. Back to playing some more Misericorde. Let's try to remember what happened last time. Alright, so I think last time was when we saw the, yeah, they were at the village. Shit happened. Edward got mad, and then she had a weird vision that took her over to the hill. And then they went back from the village, and then there was a surprise party for Hedwig. It turned out that going to the village was just an excuse. They were just setting up a surprise party for her. Because her birthday is coming up. And then Hedwig's feeling sad about how she doesn't deserve things, as she does. And then the superior took her over to the chapel, where it turned out that Angela has been in on the investigation, and the bishop is also there too. And they've told him that what they're doing, he doesn't really, he thinks he should not be involved in any of this, but he's gonna let them do what they want. Angela believes that the superior is just trying to get in the bishop's good graces so that she can get a promotion. And she later convinces Hedwig to promise that if they did find out the truth about the investigation, they would go over her head and report to the bishop directly, because the bishop's going to be staying around for a while. Hedwig told Darcy about her vision. I don't think anything really came out of that. Was there anything else? What else do we have? The cat is still around. Hedwig knocked over Moira's ink bottle and broke it, but she didn't tell her right away. And then the cat that's been wandering around ended up accidentally taking the blame by stepping all over into the ink. There was gonna be a clock tower in the place, but during construction it fell over. I don't know if that's important, but it exists. We found out that there are rumors that Catherine with a K killed her husband by cutting off his head with his own sword, similar to how Catherine with a C was killed. Anything else? Catherine and Margaret invite Hedwig to join a second party, a real party in the cellars, Not in the Misericorde, but that's probably because they can't fit everyone in there, probably. Anything else? I don't think... Oh yeah, Angela apparently carries around a knife everywhere. She threatens Hedwig with it. But I think... She said there was a joke, but... Who knows with her? Let's see. I don't think much of anything else came up that is worth bringing up. I think. There was a whole bath scene that happened. Hedwig had to make it really awkward for a little bit. Anyway, so I think that's about it. I did save, right? I saved. I did save. All right. So there was knocking when we ended. I woke with a start. That damn knocking in the walls was back. Let's get right back into it, I guess. I looked out the window to see the moon was high in the sky. At the very least, I could thank the creaky old building for waking me up at the right time for this party. I groaned and rolled out of bed. I really should have stripped down before sleeping. I felt too warm and a bit pasty, despite the cool night breeze coming through my window. Is pasty the right word for that? I think she's like, I don't know, she feels like kind of like sticky, like muggy, something like that. I don't know. Pasty makes it sound like she's paler than usual. I adjusted my clothes as best as I could. On my way out, I nearly tripped over Medea, which I picked up and put on my writing desk next to the desiccated copy of Matthew. I was getting a little tired of having books of odd import lying around my dorm room, let me tell you. Hello, Hedwig. Alright, let's see. The wake. Hedwig is awoken by, by the knocking that happens at the Abbey, apparently. Just in time for the party. Outside she bumps into Margaret and Catherine. Alright. Hello, Hedwig. Hello, Catherine. Margaret. We should go. Yes, we should. They looked oddly serious. Who looked oddly serious? Moira emerged from her dorm room as well. She looked rejuvenated since the last I saw her. The nap had done her some good. Hello, shall we? I suppose we must. Moira looked surprised by Catherine's maudlin tone. We travelled to the cellars together in silence. Moira joins the three of them, I guess. Down to the cellars. The Abbey looks quite mysterious at this time of night. I think... Did they just invert the color? No, they didn't. Did they? I don't know. The color here looks a little inverted, though. Feels weird. But maybe it's just the filter. The pale blue touches the moon was competing with the flickering orange torchlights. As we approached the cellar, I realized just how close we were to the Superior's office. Is this really wise? Surely the noise will carry. I doubt it. We'll be deep in the cellars, and these walls are thick. Not to mention that bloody great door of hers. I doubt she'd mind. It's all for Catherine after all. Of course. Only a few torches down in the cellar had been lit. I could already hear music echoing around the cool underground walls. It was altogether rather eerie. That is a note to remember, though. Hedwig wonders if the Superior will hear, because her office is quite close to the cellars. But the others reassure her It's nothing to worry. That it's nothing to worry about. There we go. I could already hear music echoing around the cool underground walls. It was altogether rather eerie. A sort of fortress of casks had been erected around what appeared to be the designated celebration area. A few of the barrels had been arranged like little tables carrying wineskins and cups. Adela had one of these makeshift tables to herself, and was playing some sort of card game with Sister Charity. Whatever the game was, it finished as we approached. Why is everything sound so serious? What's going on? Adela flipped the card over, causing Charity to erupt into giggles. Hello, everyone! What was that voice? Would any of you care to see the future? No, thanks. Catherine and Margaret made non-committal grunts and left me alone with Adela, who was already shuffling the cards. Is she using tarot cards? You're short. That's not half bad. I was already planning to leave early and I got... What was it you said, Adela dear? Your present card was the Three of Cups inverted. In that position, it can refer to a lack of time to socialize. Dead on, isn't it? Anyway, I can't stay. These old bones won't survive staying up too late. I just wanted to raise a glass in poor Catherine's name at least. She was really quite drunk already. You should stick around for just a short while longer. I believe we're giving a toast to Catherine in just a few minutes. Oh, you've talked me into it. He toddled off. Well, would you like a glimpse of the future, Sister Hedwig? Alright. Sister Charity. Right, Charity and Adela are already there. Charity is already quite drunk. And Adela is giving her a tarot reading. Adela offers one to Hedwig as well. I'm not sure I like the look of this. There's some kind of Iberian custom we should play around with. Adela frowned as she continued shuffling her deck of cards. This is an Italian pastime my mother enjoyed, Sister Hedwig. Hey Splat, how's it going? Oh, I felt rather embarrassed. I kept doing this sort of thing. I decided that agreeing to participate would be the best mea culpa I could offer, despite the misgivings I had with the activity. Go on then. An Italian pasta time? Repasta? She rapped the cards against the table sharply. I will turn over 3 cards. The first card will represent your past, the second will describe your present, and the third card will give you a hint of your future. Are you ready? Silly. Yes, let's try it. 7 of Cups. It represents illusions, imagination, creativity. But as you can see, it is inverted. From where I'm standing, I suppose. This is about your perspective, so yes, it is inverted. This card represents your past. You were in yourself for a long time, were you not? Hedwig is hesitant. But after shoving her foot in her own mouth, she accepts the reading as a mea culpa. Her past is the 7 of Cups. Was it 3 of Cups? This is 7. 7 of Cups. Inverted. You spent a lot of time with nobody but yourself. Nothing but your own imagination. Clinging to this past will not help you. It represents illusions. Let's see. Present is... Oh, this is this looks like it's an actual... It's a major arcana. The world... Once again is inverted. In this reverse position, the world represents your inner torment. You are secluded, you are lonely, you are withdrawn. I'm not just being mean. Because something has been troubling you, yes? Yes, something you need to get to the bottom of. Something that has been preoccupying you ever since you left your cell, am I correct? Yes, of course I am. You were alone in yourself for many years and now you've been set adrift. That conflict has been eating away at you and driving you further inward. The world in reverse, believe it or not, could be a good sign, Sister Hedwig. It represents your current state. You may yet find the answer to your questions within yourself. Choose a final card and we shall see. I pointed at the topmost card on the pile. I did not particularly care for this game and I wanted it to be over as soon as possible. It's gonna be death. It's gonna be death. Or the Hanged Man. Either way. It's death. Oh no, it's the Empress. It's the Empress. Is this the Empress or is it the Emperor? Oh no, maybe the Hierophant. I can't tell what these look like. Why are they all inverted? It's the Queen of Swords. Okay, it's just a minor arcana. Queen of Swords. Reversed. All of your cards have been reversals, Sister Hedwig. That is interesting. Is it dangerous? No, it just means you face many challenges. Lovely. A reversed Queen of Swords in this position means you will continue to have a hard time moving forward in the future. It represents continued trials. You must make some decisions, Sister Hedwig. The Queen in reverse suggests to me that you must find some strength inside yourself to move beyond your current predicament. Perhaps there's something small you can think of and change. I'll have to think on it. That's Cat, I guess, yeah. I desperately wanted to leave the table, but Nutella was shuffling the card pile again. Let us ask the cards a question. Think hard, Sister Hedwig. What would you ask the cards? You do not need to speak aloud. Ask the question yourself and then pick a card. I hated this game, but I didn't want to upset Adela. Let's do it like this. Adela, then, suggests Hedwig ask the cards a question. I'd already seen a real vision today. I reasoned that I had the strength to endure this silly little pagan ritual for one more round. I could not be flippant openly. I decided I would ask this card something disdainful, if only in my own mind. Is this real? Hedwig decides to be disdainful and asks, is this real? That's what I landed on. I gestured to the bottommost card in the pile that I could see peeking out from beneath the others. Let us see. The High Priestess. The result is the High Priestess. That is interesting. What does it mean? Well, to be honest, I think this card is imbued with such mystery that your answer is unclear. I did not like this answer at all. I stared at the card deep in thought. Felt oddly similar to looking at my reflection in the bath. You think you're like an empress, Hedwig? Isn't it funny how every card is imbued with enough mystery to mean whatever you like? I jumped. I didn't notice Eustace looming. The cards have malleable meanings, it is true. That makes them better at their intended purpose, not worse. I don't disagree with you there. Adela shot Eustace a nasty sneer. I was relieved that someone else was the target for ire now, at least. Do you not have any sense of wonder? No love or mystery? I forgot to get a screenshot of the cards. The chart holds plenty of mystery for me. Isn't that right, Hedwig? It is a wide world, and I believe we must be flexible if we wish to spread the faith around it. I opened my mouth to refute this, but I caught myself before saying anything. There was no need to draw Adela's attention back to me. I may have found this talk blasphemous, but at the end of the day I was a bigger coward than I was a devout Catholic. Another thing I was coming to loathe about myself. I'll leave you to it. Hedwig hasn't even gotten a drink yet, isn't that right? Yes! Goodbye, then. She busied herself with her cards. Which doesn't provide much of an answer. Eustace has been watching, and she seems to not think highly. She seems to be rather skeptical of the card's ability to tell or to say anything, which upsets Adela. Eustace takes Hedwig to go grab some drinks. Eustace tugged my sleeve and pulled me away from the table, though I did not need much convincing. She can get a bit funny about her hobbies. I'm surprised she's allowed to bring fortune-telling here. Those cards are blasphemous, surely. I'm not sure Adela thinks that hard about these things beyond the aesthetics. I would call her an easily distracted traditionalist. She led us to a free table near the edge of the makeshift room, with thus far untouched cups, and then began pouring 2 drinks. You've had a long day. Indeed I have. How are you feeling? She nudged a full cup in my direction, which I took with a quickness that surprised even myself. Tired, but also very, very awake. Like I could feel sleep forever, but never again. Darcy was the same way when she started having visions. So you believe me now? I said I believed you when... I said I believed that you believed you had a vision. Ultimately, what I think does not matter. Hey DZ, how's it going? Hope you're having a good one. She drummed her fingers on top of the welcome table. She stared off into the distance, deep in thought. I want you to know that I am looking out for you. Do you understand that? In what sense? Can't say. But I promise it isn't out of disrespect. I'm not being condescending. They talk for a bit. Eustace reassures Hedwig that she does believe she believed she had a vision. And also that and Eustace also tells Hedwig that what is the exact phrasing? That she is looking out for her. She was being very condescending. You being out of wake for Catherine feels quite strange. Uncomfortable. And I felt similarly about you working in the library as well. I kept glancing up from my work, expecting to see her sitting across from me, writing God knows what. But instead I see you. And that isn't your fault, to be clear. But it stings every time. I can only apologize. I'm no replacement for her. I was never trying to be. I was very angry when I first heard you had volunteered for her old position. What a climber, I thought. You regretted taking such extreme vows and jumped on a rare opportunity to leave. I know several other sisters think the same way. I don't think that anymore, just so that you know. What changed your mind? You're fucking miserable. This wasn't something you wanted, was it? She peered at me through her thick glasses. It's so funny. She also says that she no longer thinks Hedwig left her position as anchoress of her own accord. Because Hedwig is fucking miserable. I knew that there was no way I could lie. She was clearly comfortable in her deduction already. No. The Superior put you up to something, didn't she? Yes. Or she hadn't. I sometimes feel the same. She wanted some objective eyes and ears, I take it. She's not satisfied with the conclusion that the man killed her. Dang! Eustace knows! Shit! That's bad. That's bad because we can no longer trust that nobody else knows or has any idea. She reveals that she believes. Yeah, they're better. They're way better detectives than Hedwig is being. She reveals that she believes the Superior has put Hedwig up to investigating everything because the Superior does not believe James Foreman was the killer. Yes, that's it exactly. All her idle interests, this is easily the most annoying. She poured herself another drink. What could convince you to just give it up? That's why I tried to scare you, you know. You're braver than I thought. Nothing. Oh, please. There must be something. No, isn't. I don't think it was James either. How could you possibly have an opinion on this? You never met either of them. That's not true. Catherine came to my hagioscope several times. Yes? To talk about what? Plays? You didn't know Catherine, not the way I did. Nor anything close to the myriad connections she had with everyone here. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you picture her? Companionship? Someone who I could talk to about scripture on a level no one else ever has. Yeah, she was very good at leveraging people's interests. Eustace wants Hedwig to drop it, but Hedwig won't because she also believes it now. I know she left a few sisters hurt from when she moved on from certain interests. Are you one of them? No. But that is certainly an opinion several people here may have. So you admit I have some knowledge of the situation? Why is it then that you want me to ignore all of this so badly? Eustace looked around to make sure that nobody was within earshot, then leaned across the barrel to speak in a harsh whisper. Looking around for perceived conspiracies is what got her killed, and I don't want the same to happen to you. You or anyone else. What do you mean? So you don't think James killed her? I didn't say that. Then... Eustace, first attempts to convince her that Hedwig knew neither of the two. When that doesn't work, she reveals that Catherine's poking her nose into possible conspiracies is what got her killed. Eustace leaned away suddenly. I intuited that she had seen someone approaching out of the corner of her eye and bit my tongue. Hello? Is this wineskin still full? Eustace began pouring the wine for the two of them. They took the cups and settled in with us. The conversation stops when Margaret and Moira join them. The conversation with Eustace, it seemed, was over for good. Pasadella read everyone's fortunes yet? I don't remember her voice. I always forget Moira's voice. It's so bad. She told me I had a lot of anger in my past. Too right. Did you know the death card doesn't always mean something bad? I nearly screamed when she showed me that one. I'm not sure the cards actually mean anything. They can mean everything. They can mean everything, which is just as unhelpful. Still, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? As long as we don't take it too seriously. Margaret chugged the rest of the drink down and slammed the cup on the table. Right. Suppose I should get back to the loot. She left the table and Eustace scooched around to better talk to both Moira and I. What's got Catherine in such a bad mood, do you think? She gestured toward the tall woman, who was leaning against the barrel all by herself, looking positively ashen. Ah, that's not like her. Not at all. Do you think we should ask her? Maybe later. Not at all. Maybe later. Not at all. Well, not now. Hope she keeps that instrument in a loot box. Maybe she got it in a loot box. I'd rather wait until she's got less wine in her. Margaret goes to... They talk about tarot for a bit. Then Margaret goes to play lute. The rest of them note that Catherine looks like she's in a bad mood. Moon Goddess Yoga, remember that? That was from the Golden Valley, right? Call of the Golden Valley. I made eye contact with Catherine by accident while the others were talking. She sighed deeply, then looked away to pour herself another cup. That's really not like her. I'd in fact seen Catherine in a similar state in the Misericorde not very long ago, when she'd been staring into the fire and lamenting her lot in life. She'd alluded to her old home life then. Now that I knew the rumors surrounding her exit from the village, I had a sinking feeling about what was bothering her. You don't think she really did what they say, do you? Kill her husband? Maury and I both coughed into her drinks. No, I don't think she did. No, nor me. She's a bit odd, but I don't think she's that kind of odd. Look who's talking. Flora had arrived without anyone noticing, and looked ready to pick a fight for some reason. Flora, please. I wonder if it has to do with the rumors around the village that she killed her husband. Eustace says she doesn't believe them. Then Flora comes in. Eustace turned around to answer curtly. I never said I wasn't odd. But I think we can all agree that Catherine and I are different kinds of odd. Never mind. Wine me. Moira obliged immediately, lifting up the wines again to pour a mug for the impatient young woman. Go easy on the stuff this time. You're not my mother. Thank God for that. Flora stuck her tongue out at Eustace and left, presumably to go bother someone else. Where's the wine? Christ. I know it's normal for young nuns to act out, but she has been acting out for a long time now. I bristled at the curse, but the insinuation that Eustace found Flora's behavior somehow beneath her bothered me more. I opened my mouth to say something about it, but Moira got there first. It was probably for the best. She was always more tactful than me. You like to act out too, Eustace? Just in more elaborate ways, I suppose. My pranks have always been elaborate and thought-provoking. What thought was dressing up as a ghost meant to provoke? Ah, a ghost! We all laughed. Even Eustace. I wish I knew how to do that sort of thing. If I'd been left to my own devices, I would have likely started another argument with Eustace. Woman to woman, Eustace and I had a relationship that seemed liable to fall apart at a moment's notice. With Moira around, I felt part of an inseparable trio. You should get Darcy to join in. Darcy and Eustace are BFFs. Come on. Eustace glanced around the room at Margaret, who was fiddling with her lute while standing on top of a crate. Catherine had wandered over to the makeshift stage as well, and still looked a bit dour. Her and Margaret exchanged a few words. Neither of them looked thrilled, honestly. Finally, Margaret shrugged, Catherine sighed, and appeared to pull herself together somewhat miraculously. Margaret strummed a chord and spoke loudly to everyone gathered in the cellar. Everyone, I know we have some very important drinking to get to, but there's someone who won't be joining us tonight, who we need to pay tribute to. A murmur of approval echoed around the room. Someone who can't join us ever again. It has been several weeks since we lost our dear sister Catherine II. I'm sure she'd be delighted to see all of you here. Annoyed perhaps at a few of you. But that's nothing a few drinks couldn't fix, I'm sure of it. Everyone chuckled, but I was left confused. What sort of mourning was this? We will never have a sister like her. I dare say there isn't a convent in the country who will. In the world, most likely. I miss having the competition. Her and I had unparalleled beauty, wit, and grace. I came out on top, of course, but it was very close. More laughter. But she handily bested me and other things. Her boundless love for others. Her endless interest in all manners of scholarship. Her frankly rabid hatred of Italians. Everyone found this particularly hilarious, but I was more lost than ever. And the Spanish. Or was it the Portuguese? I can't remember. She certainly got her licks in on the English as well, which... She raised her mug into the air, and the crowd followed suit. Fair play. Fair play to all of it, I suppose. Eventually, the ceremony starts. Catherine begins her speech on other Catherine. Apparently, Catherine had a lot to say about Italians, the Spanish, the French, and the English. Where else would England would Catherine II get stuck with a convent full of Spaniards and Italians? She was Irish, of course. Moira put her hands together in front of her mouth and let out an approving howl so loud I flinched. Everyone else found this very amusing. She liked to remind us of that whenever she could. I once asked her why not go back to Ireland then, when I was particularly irritated with her good-natured ribbing. And I swear this is true. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "My dearest Catherine, ignoring the fact that I must remain here as a nun, I would never consider Lynnborough anything less than my home." How very trite, I thought. I still do, most of the time. Lynnborough rarely feels like a home to me. The hallways are drafty, what little work there is to do is tedious, and the tedium only increases when there's no work left to do. It rains all the time, and it's freezing cold even when the sun is shining. All that being said, I realized something recently. I may grouse about this place, and I'm certainly not going to stop. But Lynnborough certainly feels like less of something, without Catherine II around. And I think perhaps if she considered it a home, I could too. So maybe it is a home, for better or worse. I miss her, and I think I would miss all of you just the same were any of you to leave. Most of you. The crowd laughed again. Catherine raised her mug and began pointing at people in front of her. Charity! What will you miss most about Catherine II? I'll miss chatting with her about the past. Nobody else here wants to hear it. Too bloody right. Marta! I'll miss her assistance in the cellars. Laura? Miss having a real friend. Adela! I will miss having a sparring partner. Hold on to that one, I doubt you'll ever duel someone again. You two were complete madwomen. Eustace? I'll miss our conversations in the library. Someone Eustace enjoyed talking to. What a rare person she was. I think we only have one other here like that. Darcy? Sorry, what was the question? What are you going to miss about Catherine II? I'll miss having someone to discuss ghosts and spirits with. Alright, let's write down what everyone said. Alright. So let's see. Catherine considered Lynnborough home. And this somewhat inspires Catherine to maybe consider it home. Then he asks what everyone else will remember or misses the most about Catherine. Alright, so in order, we've got Charity misses having someone to talk about the past with. Adela misses having a sparring partner. Flora misses having a real friend. Marta misses having someone to help in the cellars. What is it? Eustace misses having someone to talk with, to have a real conversation with. Darcy misses having someone to discuss ghosts and spirits with. I think that was everyone, right? That we got so far. Steady on, Moira. I'll miss her accent. Moira, please. What the fuck? I'll miss her accent. She was choking back tears. Everyone chuckled sympathetically at her silly answer. It's a little taste of home, I'm sure. Hedwig? Only joking. Margaret? I could have shrunk into a mote of just. Margaret. Mrs. playing music with her. I'll miss playing music with her. And we'll all miss hearing it. Speaking of... Margaret, you did say Catherine wouldn't be joining us tonight. But perhaps if we drink hard enough and sing loud enough, she'll join us. Am I right? Come now, if I can't hear you, she certainly won't. Am I right? Everyone began stomping and clapping. Some people were banging on barrels to make extra noise. It was so raucous that I was worried the superior might descend the stairs to chastise us all, but nobody else seemed to mind. What is this music? Saltarello. The evening descended into chaos from there. I had no idea what I was about to do, but once Catherine's little speech was concluded, there didn't seem to be much else in the way of eulogizing at this wake. The sisters were all drinking, laughing, playing chess, and reading fortunes from that demonic deck of cards. Frankly, I felt sick. I stood at the edge of the cellar next to one of the barrels, holding a mug that I took the smallest sip from every now and then. I felt even more out of place than I ever had here than I had in the Misericorde. I was confounded by the realization that that place, which was designated specifically for rule-breaking, had felt less debauched than what I saw before me. Margaret played her lute for what seemed like hours, taking breaks only to swig whatever drink Catherine handed to her. Catherine herself seemed to be in a better mood than earlier, though she might simply have been too drunk to feel anything. The party goes into full swing afterward. Lots of music, games, and tarot. Hedwig stands off in the corner, wondering, how this could be somehow be more debauched than the Misericorde, where they were allowed to break rules. Even Moira was acting far more depraved than I was used to seeing. She was dancing like mad, bumping into people and cheering and banging on barrels to create a makeshift percussion section for Margaret. Adela made her way over to me, smiling. What are you doing all the way over here? I'm just tired, that's all. Come and join in. I'd rather not. I'm happy here. Do you feel out of place? I just didn't know Catherine that well. You're not here because of how well you knew Catherine. You're here because everybody likes you. What rubbish. Adela comes to get Hedwig to join in. I didn't know what to say to her, so I took a sip of my drink in a feeble attempt to hide. You need to trust what the card said. Allow yourself to discover where you belong. I nodded in a non-committal way. Mercifully, this seems to satisfy Adela, who danced off back towards the rest of the group. I could hear wood scraping against stone. Moira had pushed a crate next to Margaret and was clambering atop it clumsily. Everyone? She bubbled, and nearly lost her balance till Margaret caught her. Thank you. Everyone, I think. I think it's time I properly welcome our new chronicler. I don't remember her voice again. It's gone. Her voice vanished again. She pointed to me drunkenly, and I froze. Very drunk. Laura clambers on top of a crate and shouts, announces that they should welcome their new chronicler. Everyone turned and raised their mugs to me. Catherine could never be replaced. But Hedwig is a lovely new presence here, don't you all think? I was practically begging to be struck down by a lightning bolt. Anything to end this embarrassment. The figures had been bad enough, but seeing this as fully uninhibited, smiling at me, seemingly entirely honestly as they toasted me, it made my blood boil. I don't really know why, I just felt wrong. But looking at all these drunken, dripping faces gulping at me, I wasn't sure I wanted their approval. 3 cheers for Hedwig! Hup, 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 hup. I was rescued by an ugly sound. Flora had wandered over to one of the casks and attempted to open it, only to break the bung completely. Alright. Somehow, all the smiling from the drunk women makes Hedwig very mad. Although before she can blow her top, Flora accidentally spills a actually breaks the cask. Yeah. Cask open. Flora, what are you doing? The skin was empty. I was gonna get more and it just broke. Adele and Marta stormed over to the barrel to attempt help. Flora was covered in red wine. Her wimple was undoubtedly ruined. You really are a piece of work, girl. That is not even the wine we are drinking. Bloody well hope not, it smells awful. Oh my god, did she break the fucking sherry cask? Oh god. What did you do? I didn't do anything. It broke on its own, more or less. You ripped the whole faucet out! How did you manage that? Barely touched it. You're a bad worker and a worse liar. Get out of my way. Whatever. Oh, this was Sister Catherine's first batch of sherry, wasn't it? Of all the casks to break, well, this one's gone for good. Marta yanked Flora toward her by the scruff of her neck. It was Catherine's first batch of sherry. Marta, in particular, is very displeased by this. I don't know if I like Marta that much, you know? Jeez. That smacked her face with raw power I wouldn't have expected from her. What do you have to say for yourself? She smacks Flora. Marta raised her hand again, but everyone rushed forward. That's enough, Marta. It was an accident. Huh. Marta lets go of Flora and walked away to join Charity on the other side of the room. The cask was still gushing wine onto the floor. Everyone was inching backward to give the dark liquid a wider berth. Moira tried to pull Flora aside to comfort her, but the younger nun sprinted past her toward the cellar stairs. What should we do? There is not much we can do now. It will soak into the stone. Some got into the casks beneath it, too. Those are probably ruined now as well. Just from having something poured in it. This is a delicate business. What was that you said about it soaking into the stone? It will, believe it or not. Although a mop would not go amiss. No. Let it. What? What are you talking about? This is Catherine's sherry, right? The wine she worked on when she tried her hand at winemaking. We should let the Abbey have it. You mean Catherine made this? There is a piece of a soul or spirit. If there is a piece of a soul or spirit or essence, I don't know. And the Abbey should drink it. All of it. She can be part of the Abbey forever. Not just stuck in some barrels. Eustace! That is a beautiful idea! I've never known you to speak with such poetry. He runs off. Let's see. Adela mentions that the stone floors will absorb most of the sherry, but they ought to mop up as well. But Eustace comes up with the idea of letting the Abbey drink up the sherry so that Catherine can be part of it forever. I have my moments. I agree. What a beautiful way to honor her memory. It is certainly unique. Befitting, I suppose. When you say all of it, Sister Eustace. All of it. Anything Catherine made. The mood had soured somewhat when Flora had broken the cask, but a new buzz of activity was starting. Should we just pop the rest open? This is this ominous, we're gonna do something bad music. The parties then, and they decide they should do this with all of Catherine's wine-making caskets. Let's smash them! Well, that's more like it. They're gonna have a fun party. Casks. Not caskets. Thank you. A cheer went around the room. Did I go get an axe from the workshop? Good idea. No, I have a better idea. Eustace? Why not use Catherine's sword? Oh, isn't that dangerous? Absolutely. No more or less than an axe? What about spears? I would really prefer the axe, I think. Spears are more effective than both. I'll get Catherine's sword if it'll spare us a lecture on troop tactics. They decide to use Catherine's sword to do it. Which Eustace says she'll fetch. Uh-oh. You should have a buddy system. I don't know why Eustace is going alone. Is this not rather ghoulish? She was killed with it. The mood soured instantly. Ugh. You know, I think that is exactly why we should use it. Should her sword's last act be so grisly, we have a chance to wield it to celebrate her. I resisted the urge to point out that the sword's most recent acts were to slaughter a goat and scare me silly. That actually makes some sense to me. I agree. It's fitting. I'll go and get it. Back in a moment. Catherine's mood had turned again. Nearly everyone else seemed convinced of this ridiculous idea. However, I think we'll be getting on. It was a lovely night, but I'm too old for all this. We need our beauty sleep, don't we, Marta? Waste of good wine. Charity and Marta don't seem all that into this, and they decide to go turn in. I'm sure we don't actually need to do this. Do what you like. Good night, everyone. They left. Well, she's still here. Margaret was huddled in a conversation with Catherine again. They both looked quite serious, but Margaret was strumming a tune idly to cover what they were conversing about. Finally, Eustace emerged from the shadows once more. Until Eustace returns, Margaret and Catherine have an inaudible conversation. She carried that terrible blade with her. When the nuns invested in her cask-breaking plan, started cheering, she held it aloft. Even Catherine joined in. Her dark mood had once again evaporated. She had turned back into the Catherine I was used to seeing. Right? Who wants to go first? Let me take a swing. It should be Hedwig. Of course. That is a much better idea. Fitting. None. I couldn't. Go on, Hedwig. Eustace approached me and held the sword out as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The pommel towards me, the blade resting at her side, balanced flat on her palm. Now, be very careful. Grasp it firmly with both hands. They're convinced that Hedwig should take the first swing. It's like they're having like a piñata party. Hedwig stabs them all. Everyone was looking at me expectantly. I don't know. Hedwig! 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 Everyone began chanting in unison, even Eustace. There was nothing else for it. I took the sword in my hands and everyone cheered. How does it feel? It's much lighter than it looks. Ooh, this is good. This is the first time we can see her face. She looks sad. I saw my reflection in the blade. No, that's not a unibrow. These are eyebrows. This is just like her fringe. You can see her hair is peeking out, I guess. I saw my reflection in the blade. It was an odd sensation. I suddenly felt very powerful. I turned the blade over with a quick little flip. It felt so natural. What is this on this other side? It looks like it has Hebrew written on it. That's an aleph, but I don't know what the rest is. Let's see if we can read. Let's see if we can find out what this says. Hebrew alphabet. Something written in more. Okay, so that's an aleph. Mem, maybe? It could be flipped over though. Alright, let's take a quick screen cap of this. Alright, so we got paint open. We don't have paint open. We have paint open. Alright. Yeah, this is flipped. So let's flip it over like this. Alright. Does this have any thing to increase contrast or anything? Do I have Orphan View in this computer? I don't think I do. Yeah, it's not downloaded. Do I have xaco installed? No, I have Scoop. Scoop, Orphan View. We're gonna download it, I guess. Where's Scoop? Why is Scoop not showing it? How is it possible to not have Orphan? Come on! Sometimes I haven't installed it here yet. Terminal. I think we'll be fine here. Is it done yet? Oh, it's updating. Why is it taking so long? Just download it. Come on. Alright, well, while this is happening, we're going to the Hebrew alphabet Wikipedia page. So you can see Aleph very clearly here. Oops. This one. Is it upside down or not? I think it is upside down, yeah. Now the question is, why this finally? Oh god, why is it so big? Whatever. So this one, it looks like a Vav, but it's got like a dot. I don't know what the dots mean. I think that's vowel helping. Then we've got Dalet, maybe? Yod. And then Samek. I think that's what I think that's what it is. All right, so it could be Mem as well. Oh, it's yeah, it's Mem. All right, so let's just type it in here. So it was Aleph, Aleph, oops. So, yeah. Now the question is, how do I look this up properly? Like, so as far as I know in Hebrew, they insert vowels in here, but the vowels are word dependent. I don't know if this will help. They're probably just gonna tell us what this means anyway. Gemini, ChatGPT, nah. What do you mean? That's what it means. I don't know Hebrew. It's the thing. Anyway, we had a little side quest here. This is not the full version. Or this is the full version with plugins. Of course we want plugins. Let's pull it up anyway. Just while we're here. Even though we don't need it anymore. Because we were able to see all the letters. Oh, Earth and View. How I love you. I should also install Image Magic. You lost audio? Audio should still be working. According to, OBS. I think it's I don't know. OBS didn't show anything changing, so I don't know. Anyway. Color corrections, let's go. Oh, that's pretty good. That is a really good color correction. Holy crap. Look at that. Yummy. Anyway. That was an interesting side quest. We didn't solve anything. But now we get to see if the game tells us anything. Did I screen cap this properly? I don't know. Oops. It's so legible. It felt so natural. Gotta close some windows. I hadn't even held the sword for a minute, and I already felt as if I were equipped to take on the world. I was surprised to discover there was an engraving in Hebrew on the side of the blade near the crossguard. How odd, I thought. While I recognized the script, I could not read it. It's all, what do you mean? I didn't have long to muse over it, however. What if it says Adam? I don't know. I don't think that's how Adam is written, though. How's Adam written in Hebrew? Why are you not saying it in Hebrew? It is literally... There it is. No. It has... It's only got some of them. So it's missing Yod, or not Yod, Vav, whatever, and Yod. But it's somehow close anyway. Step over there. Careful now. To this cask, Sister Hedwig. Everyone else should stand back. Now lift up. I was not really listening. I knew what to do. With a speed that evidently surprised Adela, I swung my blade down into the top of the barrel in front of me. Not bad, but you must swing more confidently. Try. Okay, by the way, I need to write down notes. Hedwig examines the sword and finds that it has the Hebrew phrase or word has Hebrew script written on it. Let's grab the text for it. Unicode lookup. Hebrew Aleph with an F actually. Nice. Aleph Vav. Oh good. It does it in order. Wait. Actually, is there a valve with a dot somewhere here? Is it this one? Is this what we need? Nope, wrong one. It also doesn't look right. Upper dot. We're on more side quests today. We're stalling the story for this. Sin dot. That didn't work. That didn't do anything. I think I missed it though. Uh-oh. That got the table. Come on. Highlight it. Highlight the dot. Oh, it goes all the way over here. That's funny. Second from the bottom. Wait, what? On the fourth column. Second from the bottom. This one? Or this one, maybe. Could be. I don't know. That seems a bit too... Let's pull up the earthen view. Seems a little off, yeah. Could just be a font thing though. But I'm pretty sure it's this, but with a dot. It just looks weird in this font. Where could this what are these diacritics? I wish I could tell. That one's just another dot on top again. Oh, maybe it's this one. You can't even tell where this one went. You know what? We'll ignore it. We'll ignore the diacritics. It's fine. We don't need to get it exactly. We just need to look fine. It needs to be fine. It's just fine. It's fine. Dalet, Yod. Where's Yod? And the last one was Mem. Alright, Mem, where are you? There you are. Final Mem. That's how you know it's right. So it starts with an A and ends with an M. And it has, with Daim. I don't know. Alright. But I was already swinging the blade down again. The barrel gave way and red sherry came bursting forth. All. Everyone cheered. The wine was all over my wimple and frock, but there was nothing I could do about that. I gave the broken barrel a few more gleeful hacks before Adela stayed my arm, laughing. Give someone else a turn. Who wants to go next now? There are just enough casks for all of us to do one, I think. Let's see. Everyone clamoured around. Adela held her hand out to me expectantly. A sword? Hedwig? Oh, yes, of course! Hedwig goes to town on the cask with a sword. Enough that Adela needs to convince her to give someone else a turn. I handed the sword back to her gingerly. Yeah, Aleph is just a, I think it's like a generic vowel marker, because otherwise there would be no way to mark a vowel at the beginning of a word. I think that's how it works. Like I said, I don't really know Hebrew though. This is just from my understanding. And then there are no vowels between the consonants, because everything else is just a consonant. And then I think in modern Hebrew they use like little marks to indicate what vowel it is nowadays. I didn't want to let go. The crackling energy didn't subside, thankfully. Yo, that's a good shot. Adela took her turn next. She began her assault on the cask in front of her with a violent thrust into the dead center of the lid, as if she were attempting to pierce a wooden shield. Also, my VTube studio decided it's time to lock up for a bit, so let's distract ourselves by writing stuff down. There's someone else. Is Adela. The tip of the blade wedged itself between the two planks, and she pressed forward with a slight twist. The entire lid buckled and split apart immediately. Who, unlike Hedwig's passionate hacking, does a smooth stab with a twist. The entire lid buckled and split apart immediately. Adela was covered head to toe by the red sherry. She giggled and held the sword aloft, similar to the way Eustace had, and gave a mighty war cry. Let's see. Yeah. That is how it is done. The sisters present all clapped for the expert swordswoman, and she gave a little bow and held the sword out for the next contestant. Catherine stepped forward. Oh, these are nice. These are good poses. Hold on. At the end of her cloak drifted atop a flood of wine that was spreading rapidly outward from our position. Suppose tomorrow will be a laundry day. I might need to get new frocks. Worth it. One by one, the rest of the sisters attacked their designated wine casks. Catherine opened with a horizontal swing that the rest of us instinctively ducked. She apologized and instead popped her cask with a wicked diagonal strike that crushed the angle where the lid and the rim met. She hacked away this opening until the lid splintered apart immediately. Catherine uses a diagonal strike that takes a few tries. The advantage of wearing black. Oh, that's cute. Look at Moira. Alright, so we know Moira is not particularly tall from this. Moira's turn took a moment to get going. Whereas I'd been surprised at how light the sword felt. She clearly found it rather heavy. It was somewhat comical when she took the sword from Catherine and nearly fell over when the taller woman let go. Moira finds the sword a tad heavy. She chopped away at the top of a barrel as if she was splitting firewood, and chops like she's splitting firewood. I guess that means she probably didn't do it. She can barely hold the sword. That took some doing, but she got there eventually, and we all clapped and cheered as she gave us a slightly embarrassed bow. Okay, Eustace. Eustace dispatched her cask with shocking efficiency, however. In 7 rhythmic strikes, left, right, top, thrust. Dang, she did a full combo. Eustace uses an efficient touch of death combo. She completely shattered the lid. She hit it more times than Adela, but both of them were easily the most practiced. Darcy, what are you doing? Darcy held the sword by the blade when she stepped up, prompting all of us to rush forward to stop her. All save for Adela, who began arguing that this was a perfectly valid technique. You'll hurt yourself. I don't my hands on my sleeves, it'll work. Pommel strikes are actually very efficient, especially against these barrels. Darcy's not a soldier, she's going to... Darcy gave the bung of the barrel a surprisingly swift bat with the rounded bottom of the sword handle, while the others were arguing. Up free instantly, spraying everyone with sour-smelling sherry. Darcy swings the blade, like, holds onto the blade, and uses the pommel as a hammer. Easy. Eustace gave a friend a withering look. Good work, Darcy. I told you. Margaret, it's your turn. Well, I guess it's more like, Margaret, it's your turn. Catherine had called across the room to get Margaret's attention. I'd not noticed she had wandered so far afield. Margaret? During Margaret's turn, Catherine calls for her, but Margaret had wandered far away. Margaret did not answer. She was sitting on the bottom of the staircase, back up at the cloister, her head buried in her arms. Perhaps she dozed off, it is rather late. And she volunteered to ring the bell tomorrow. However, Margaret was not asleep. Oh, she's crying. Sad Margaret. We shouldn't have to see this. She was crying at the steps to the cloister. Right, she's crying. Margaret is... Tenses are important. She lifted her head up from the depths of her cloak and stared at us balefully with glistening eyes. Sad drunk Margaret. That is a small horse or a large person. Is that death? I think that's death. Okay, I guess death is indeed riding kind of like a sickly horse, so I wanted to say something to apologize, even though I had no idea what I would be apologizing for. Something about this impromptu cask smashing ritual bothered her, but I had no idea what had prompted a reaction this strong. Marta was closely connected to the wine, after all, and she had merely given us all a stern goodbye. Margaret looked to be in pieces, however. I felt awful. I did not get a chance to say anything, though. Catherine coaxed her friend away privately, and they disappeared up to the staircase and into the darkness, while the rest of us said awkward farewells. Nice look, Adela. A long night, I think. Okay. Was smashing all those bits a bit gauche? Was smashing all those a bit gauche? There we go. Disrespectful to Catherine's memory, perhaps? I didn't intend it that way. Hopefully she understands that. So we'll do a composite that puts them together all lit up better if I use this as a thumbnail. It was a good idea, Sister Eustace. Later that night. I don't know what this is titled yet, so we're calling it that for now. Catherine takes Margaret away, and the others wonder if she was particularly upset about the cask breaking. I keep typing RGN. We climbed the stairs together, then turned back toward the cellar to admire our handiwork. Moira started giggling. The Superior's gone to kill us? Better try. That was the most spiritually satisfying thing I've done in ages. Ah! Sister Flora! What about Flora? She did not get a chance to join us. It was her actions that inspired the whole exercise. We should find her. There's one cask of Catherine's awful sherry left, I believe. I suppose it'd only be fair. Good thinking. I'll check the cloister and the garden. Maybe she's just getting some fresh air. I'll scour the dorms and kitchens. I'll make a round of the grounds. The rest of them, let's see. Adela, Moira, Eustace, and, I guess Hedwig is just kind of hanging out, but she's here too. Hedwig is here too. Up to look for Laura to give her a chance to break the last cask. Hedwig? Let's see the exact things. Moira will go to the cloister and gardens. Adela will check the dorms and kitchens. And Eustace will make a round of the grounds. Hedwig, I'll search whoever's left. Chapel? Adela can cover the chapel, that's closer to the kitchens. You should check the rest of the upstairs, maybe. Doorways and such. That leaves Hedwig to search the rest of the upstairs. By my old cell. Exactly. Let's meet back here once we finish looking, I did not adore this idea, but I wasn't about to argue with Eustace in front of Adela and Moira. We traipsed up the stairs and went our separate ways. Interesting usage of traipse here. Your, sounds more jolly than I'd expect. Eustace was still carrying the sword with her, swinging it idly at her side as if it were any old thing. As I found myself alone in the dark passageways, I began to wish I had a weapon as well. A hot rush of power, holding that sword, had provided it rapidly dissolved in the cold night air. I walked down the hall toward the intersection I had seen Eustace's horrible ghost visage with caution. The wind was picking up. I could hear that big door rattling again in the distance. It includes near her old cell. I thought about peeking outside, but there was no chance that Flora was out at the wall when it was this cold and windy. That's how I excused myself anyway. In truth, I did not want to be startled by the door slamming again. Laura? I turned the corner away from the door. Laura? I could hear something strange underneath the wind. It was higher-pitched and irregular in rhythm. Hedwig begins to hear something strange in the wind. High-pitched and rhythmic. And arrhythmic, I guess. Arrhythmic? It came from down the dark passageway to my cell. I braved a few steps forward to confirm it. I was sure of it. The sound got louder the further I walked. The hair on the back of my neck stood up straight. It's coming from the direction that would take her closer to her cell. Eustace was busy in the garden, and there was no way this could be a tired retread of her old jokes. Where'd Darcy go, by the way? We didn't really see what Darcy was up to. It was an unearthly wail. It echoed around the whole hall, bouncing from wall to wall, pillar to pillar. I thought about the passageway Margaret had showed me. It's some sort of wail. The cell they left unlocked. True. The demonic circle etched into the stone. The bar guest! I could not bear it one moment longer. I turned tail and sprinted out of the hall. Whatever that noise was, I told myself, it couldn't have been her. Hedwig convinces herself that whatever the noise was, it wasn't Flora. She runs. No joy? Eustace is already waiting when I arrived back at the cellar staircase. I shook my head as I came to a stop. Nothing, I'm afraid. Couldn't find her either. It's too dark to see out there without a proper torch, and all I had was a little candle. Doubt she's outside at all, to be honest. Hasn't found Flora either. It's too damned cold. It is, isn't it? We stood in silence for a moment. I trust tonight gave you some catharsis. Very much so. Good. I think we can call that the end of it. She looked down the stairs into the darkness. Bye, Catherine. I don't know what to say. She had pivoted from slightly threatening to slightly forlorn so quickly I had no recourse. I think breaking the casks was a very sweet idea. Do you? That's good. I didn't take you as someone for impromptu ritual. No, but this felt right. It did, didn't it? I said whatever I could to steer the conversation away from where this started. I wanted Eustace to be satisfied that I would adhere to her request to stop searching. I didn't want to have to lie about it out loud again. Adela arrived next. She was alone as well. I could not find her. Neither has Adela. Nor Moira. Me either. Moira was just behind Adela, jogging back to her meeting spot. Oh well, we tried. That's likely good enough. Agreed. I would have felt bad if we did not at least make an effort. I do hope she's somewhere safe. This is a big abbey, and she is a crafty young woman. I am not worried. She is sulking. She probably does not want to be found. True. It's very late. We should call it tonight. Laura will find her way to bed, I'm sure. The Superior's already going to have a conniption when she sees the state of the cellars. I dread to think what she'll do if we all sleep through service. Yes, we can't miss service. We walked upstairs back to the dorms in silence. They decide that they tried hard enough. Although, Edward kinda didn't really try that much at all, did she? That they tried hard enough and decide to go to bed. She'll turn up in the morning. We said our goodnights in the dorm hall and retired to our separate rooms. For once I fell asleep swiftly, but morning came far too soon. I think sleeping at all made things worse for me, truth be told. Have you ever had that experience? I'm gonna separate this up, by the way. So this will be cask breaking. Have you ever had that experience? I can stay awake for quite a long time if I have to. But if I fall asleep, I need a proper full night of rest. No, that's me too. I can stay up for quite a while. But if I don't get good sleep, I am fucked. No matter how early or late I sleep, if I don't get proper sleep, oof, I cannot. How long do y'all try to sleep for? I try to go for 7.5 hours. I think that works the best for my sleep cycles, my REM cycles. 6 sometimes works. There are times where I've woken up after 4.5 hours, I guess. Yeah, my REM cycles are apparently 90 minutes. You get espresso, then you power nap for 20 minutes. Wild. I've never been good about going to sleep immediately after drinking caffeine. I hear that's good. I hear that it works, right? That's a thing that you can do because while you sleep, the caffeine will do the thing that sleep normally does. And instead of wiring you up, it I don't know. But I've never been good about doing that. So I should try it sometime. We'll see. But I'm not really much of a, like, the only caffeine I get is from, like, milk tea and soda. I don't actually drink coffee. Especially not because the coffee shops nearby, stopped being nearby. And the only one near me now is expensive as heck, and I don't like going there. Alright. I groaned when I woke up. I don't know how long I'd even managed to sleep for. I got dressed and stuck my head out into the hallway, and my heart sank. Like 15 cups of tea per day? Wild. There was no activity in the hall, and a few doors were ajar. I was late for service. I scurried down the stairs as quickly as I could. Hedwig wakes up late for service. The rain clouds that had been looming last night had finally broken. I could see a dotted black line of nuns entering the chapel ahead of me. Thank God I wasn't too late. Just barely late for service. As I made my way inside, I sensed the mood was grim. I looked around at everyone. The sisters looked slightly haggard and paler than usual. Nobody was speaking. I did not see Flora anywhere. Flora wasn't there. Isn't there, I guess. My heart sank. Margaret was sitting near the front of the chapel, her head resting on her closed fists. She had evidently gotten here first. Sorry, everyone. Volunteered to ring the bells this morning, but I forgot. She was staring straight ahead at something. Margaret had apparently gotten here first, but she'd forgotten to ring the bell. Did Flora die somehow? She was staring straight ahead at something. Everyone looked so upset I half expected to see a dead body lying on the altar as I got closer. However, Margaret was staring dead ahead at a crumpled pile of wooden wreckage sitting on the floor in front of her. A portative organ. Oh, Margaret! I was trying to fix it. There's this piece that Kath and I would always take out for a laugh. I know you all know. Thought to myself recently the joke is wearing a bit thin. Maybe it's not the best time. I came back in here to put the missing piece back in and crash. She'd accidentally broken the portative organ while trying to repair it. Oh boy. Nobody spoke. Are you going to tell her? God, no. If one of you wants to sell me out, feel free, but I'm not going to get myself in trouble. The gathered sisters awkwardly took their seats in the pews. We waited for a while, listening to the sound of the rain. I was trying to do something nice. Then it fell. I can't complain, I suppose. The door finally swung open again. I turned around to see the bishop holding it open for the superior. She glowered as she strode forward. Each of the footsteps echoed with a terrible heavy thud against the chapel floor. After what felt like hours, she stopped in the middle of the room to address the woman sitting in the pews. Sister Flora is missing. The superior enters with the bishop. to announce that Flora is missing. If anyone would like to claim credit for hiding her away somewhere, I would ask that you speak up now. I will be just and fair. I understand that this would not be the first time a practical joke went too far. Nobody spoke. I assume the mess in the cellars has something to do with it. I am offering clemency. Will nobody take responsibility for their actions? So Flora either ran away in the middle of the night, or she went somewhere that nobody thought to check. Maybe she went to the hospitalum. Very well. Should your consciences recover, you may reclaim some decency by confessing to me privately in my office after service. She looked around the chapel sternly. She believes, as had occurred previously, that somebody has hidden her away. But, as nobody messes up, she offers them some clemency if they confess in her office later. Everyone averted their gaze. With a sharp sigh, she moved forward toward the altar. Each footstep echoed terribly in my head. I could see Margaret tensing up ahead of me. There was a pause. Oh, hell! You're cursing like that in front of the bishop, Superior? Everyone jumped. The Superior had seen the portrait of Organ. She flew up the steps of the altar in a rage. Margaret! Catherine! Which one of you was it? Angry Superior. Silence. Eustace, who did it? I know it was one of you. The room was utterly airless. Tension has ratcheted up all of a sudden. Jesus. Hot and sour soup. Right? Let's see. And she notices the broken portative. Has to be someone here. We don't have ghosts here. Not spirits, Vargas, or any other devilish creatures. I know it had to be someone in this room. Who else could it have been, You all protect each other. Don't for 1 second think I cannot see it. I scarcely know this place anymore. You all hide every aspect of it from me. It matters not if it's a missing bread roll or a piece of my portrait of Organ or a murdered sister. Superior, are you not feeling well? No, Sister Moira, I am not feeling well. My youngest charge is missing. I pray to God she hasn't met the same fate as Sister Catherine. And do you know why I pray? Because I have a congregation of rats gnawing at my ankles. And, she finally breaks. It broke. She saw the organ, and it broke her. YouTube thumbnail. They broke her organ, and it broke her. Let's see. I really hate that trend of YouTube video titles, by the way. X happened and it broke me is the worst. And this never actually breaks them. They're just like, wow, this is cool. Let's see. Let's see. What's a good word for this? Bloviates isn't right, but what about expounds on her belief, her knowledge that the sisters at the convent will protect each other and hide information from her. There is nothing you will allow me to do. I am supposed to be in charge. I am Mother Superior, but I understand who is really in control here. It is not me, it is all of you. Each and every one of you spend your days trying to find the cleverest little ways to defy my wishes and orders. Perhaps we should take a moment to calm ourselves. Perhaps try to just put this instrument of yours back together. I'm sure this young sister is simply playing truant. The Superior raises a silencing hand to the bishop, who looked dismayed. Is it very hard living here? Is it so difficult not having to want for anything? To not have to throw yourself at some awful man or beg for money on the street? This place gives you everything. I give you everything, but it's never enough. You all have the run of this place for almost every hour of every day, but the barest of responsibilities, the smallest courtesies, are too great an ask for you. Oh no, you could not possibly spend 30 miserable minutes listening to some liturgical music. You undoubtedly all have pressing plans today. I am certain they're important, drinking yourselves into a stupor in the Misericorde, perhaps. Or are you all waiting to dance around Flora's body trussed up like a maypole? I have turned a blind eye to all manner of vices in my tenure here. Do not pretend I am unaware. Manly, selfish sodomites, the lot of you. Manly? She loomed over the altar, breathing raggedly. Her eyes darted between all the women present, who squirmed uncomfortably and looked away. I just cannot bear being treated this way any longer. Could any of you? This is kind of a justified crash out. Kind of. She basically lets it all loose. Lets all of her misgivings loose. That she is not able to provide any leadership. When everyone keeps trying to undermine her and find loopholes. How many of you could stand to live the way you all conspire to make me live? I took a peek into the cellars this morning. Broken barrels, wine all over the floor. It stunk to high heaven. I could deal with that on its own. I wouldn't stop you all from having your fun. But where is Flora? What happened, Will no one come forward? Very well. She stepped down from the altar. The bishop made to follow her. He looked gravely concerned. Sophia looked straight ahead as he strode defiantly out of the chapel. Service is concluded. Do whatever you like. Maple. The bishop turned around as he reached the door. He shot an apologetic glance around the room, then bounded after the superior as they swung shut. We were left in the dark. Sorry. I was a bit preoccupied last night. Where is Flora? Margaret was just like, so yeah, I know I was there, but I was kind of crying in the corner. What happened to Flora? Ugh. Then she leaves with the bishop chasing after her. Service is concluded. What happened, Flora? An uneasy feeling was starting to build in the room. We don't know. We looked for her last night after everyone left the cellar. I thought she would have a turn smashing the barrels with us. Don't you dare blame me. I wouldn't dream of it. I don't like this. Me either. If she left of her own accord, Flora is responsible for her own choices. Angela's here, hanging out, even though she wasn't at the party. She may be the youngest of us, but she is 19 years of age. Flora would have a family by now if she were not here. Responsibilities. She ran off after Marta hit her. Don't you dare blame me for this. I wouldn't dream of it. Thank you for setting me straight, Eustace. I merely assumed as I was not there. Are you really going to make this about your lack of invitation? As if you would have enjoyed it. That is not what we are discussing. No, but you thought you could sneak in a complaint or two because you're an annoying Quiet! Charity had stepped up to the altar. She looked rather commanding and deadly serious. Finally, Charity actually taking some sort of command. God knows that she's just kind of just been letting everyone do stuff. You're older, you know? You show them your wisdom. Listen to yourselves. There's only one thing that should be on anyone's mind right now. Finding Sister Flora. Aye? Her question was met with a unanimous mumble of acknowledgement. Last night, it sounds like a few people poked around looking for her. But now all of us are here. No fighting now. We're all on the same side, aren't we? and the situation is explained. A fight. Angela's here too. So naturally, a fight breaks out, which is stopped. I guess nipped in the bud by Charity, who rallies everyone together, help find Flora. Let's split up and search this whole damn place for our Flora. At the very least, I want to be able to show the Superior we can take care of our own. Aye? Another approving murmur. What was the passage Catherine liked to quote at times like this? Pacta statum et contentio inter eos, quis eorum videretur esse maior. I was taken aback. What on earth did Luke have to do with this? Nevertheless, I was impressed with the ease with which Eustace recited the scripture. At ili dixerunt. At? I don't know what at means. Ili, I think, is he. And he said something like that. Domi ecce duo gladi hic. At ile dixit eis satis est. Lord something. I assume this means two. Gladi is sword. The Lord is my sword. Lord, be my sword. And he said satis est. I don't know what satis is. Everyone else murmured satis est along with her. That is enough. Lovely. Lovely. Hick is because still drunk. Off we go then. We filed out of the church. There was an odd energy about, a sense of purpose. I was not entirely sure what had just transpired. I was turning those words from Luke over and over in my head as we began spreading through the cloister. Why that passage? What did those words mean to these women? And what did that have to do with finding a missing girl? I guess we should record it. Apparently it's a significant enough passage that they all know what this is about. They quote a line from a passage from Luke that Catherine apparently liked to bring up in times like this. Pacta est autem et contentio inter eos contentio, not contentium. Quis eorum videretur esse maior. Quis eorum? Eorum videretur esse maior. At e dixerent domine ecce duo gladi at ie dixit es satis es. Let's see if we can look up which passage this is. Latin Bible. This is the Vulgate. Luke 22:24. Bible Gateway. We're gonna destroy my history now. So it was 22 through 22:24. That doesn't seem right. We're looking at 24. All right, this is it. That isn't exactly right, though. Let's copy the rest of it, see what we got. It seems like it's from the Last Supper, though. Okay, so it's just two separate parts. So the disciple said, C. Okay, so E is okay. So this is Luke 38. So let's copy this down. So this is the second part. And the first part is, I guess it's, yeah, it's two separate statements, right? And this is really bad at figuring out what I want to do here. So this is Luke 38, Luke 22:38. And I guess this was Luke 22:24. Where's the comparison? Why did it show the comparison in that one view but not here? But anyway. How do I see a comparison view? Fruit also arose among them, which is to them was considered to be, which of them was considered to be greatest. Why are there two separate quotes here? That's odd, right? It's not like it's really intended to be together. There are two swords. That's enough. I like how the icon, by the way, the icon. I can't tell who this is. Can we see it bigger? Okay, that one's definitely Darcy. I wonder if they're both Darcy. Alright. And what did they have to do with finding a missing girl? I was baffled, but I was at least relieved to be freed from the confines of the chapel. I decided to begin my search in the garden. Most of the others, it seemed, were headed toward the main building. I really did hope Flora was safe. Right now, I just wanted to be alone. She's shirking her duties immediately, come on. I had quite enough group discussion for one morning. Even in the rain, the flowers were quite lovely. They bounced up and down as raindrops hit them. There was a faint and pleasant rustling all throughout the grounds. I walked up and down the hedgerows. I was not sure what to expect. Would Flora jump out from behind a bush? Was I likely to find her sulking in a bag of carrots. I began to feel quite guilty. I wasn't helping. I was taking a relaxing stroll amongst the flowers. Campy had emerged from underneath the thicket in front of me. Hedwig doesn't quite feel like looking, and so she wanders into the garden, where she comes across Campy the cat. Seemingly unbothered by the rain, I touched my path and leveled a curious stare my way. Go on. Shoo. You'll catch cold in this weather. You cats catch colds. The cat flicked his tail back and forth and stared at me. It looked thoughtful. I felt like I was being sized up. I suppose I should thank you. You took the blame for the ink bottle after all. Yes, I was losing my grip on things a bit, wasn't I? Talking to a cat. What was I thinking? It seemed to understand me, however, because vermin share a secret language. Yo, that's fire. Fire bars. Even though she's insulting herself. Like, imagine using that as an insult to someone else. But no, she's using it on herself. I walked forward and rubbed myself, it walked forward and rubbed itself against my ankles, disappearing under my robe for just a moment. Don't touch me! I hopped to the side. The little creature trotted back to where it had been sitting before, only this time it didn't look at me. It turned its gaze up into the air and began to make an unpleasant chittering sound. I tilted up my head to see what it was looking at. I half expected to see those mysterious pennants again, but there was nothing. Only rain clouds and passing birds. When I looked down, the cat was gone. I sighed and peered into the sky once more, just in case I had missed whatever the little creature had seen. There was nothing amidst the clouds. However, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something on the parapet overlooking the garden. There it was again. It attempts to get her attention to look in a certain direction. At first, Hedwig sees nothing, and the cat disappears. Then she looks again, and there's a horned figure standing atop the parapets. Pair of pets. Looking straight at me. I bolted back the way I'd come, through the bushes and hedges. I hoped I could disappear in the flowers. When I stopped to catch my breath, I looked back at the building in the distance. It was gone. I was safe from whatever it was. For the time being, anyway. Enjoy the violets while you can. It'll snow soon. Hello, Eustace. Has Flora been found? No. She hides in the bushes. And when she peeks out again, here it's gone. Eustace comes by and says, Flora hasn't been found yet. Just needed a break. You know, all around the grounds. And I went to look in the library, but it's been locked since last night. No way Flora could be in there, thankfully. I was half expecting her to find her scribbling rude drawings into your chronicles. I'm not worried about that. I doubt anyone would want to tamper with my writing. Eustace pantomimed a mock shiver. Horrible. I always worry about that. Hours of work undone. Right. Well, a break can do a lot of good. Perhaps we'll think of somewhere else to look. We stood and admired the flowers together. I've been meaning to ask you, how are you taking to chronicling? Can't help but notice that you tend to finish quite early. It's been no problem. I'm sure I'll come into my own once I've had more time practicing the fundamentals. As long as nothing is bothering you. I know we made up on the cart ride, but... No, not at all. I haven't given our little spat a second thought. Well, that's good. Funny to think that that was just yesterday, apparently. I really am sorry about all that. Her expression stayed as inscrutable as ever. There's no need. Sister used to say, I have been sad about something else. Laura will turn up. No, it's not that. I'm afraid Sister Catherine II. She has not left my thoughts, even though I was not party to the event. Forgive me if I'm going around in circles here, but I've still been hearing so much about her, but at the same time, very little. If that makes any sort of sense. It's only by to take a break. They chat, and Hedwig brings up that she can't stop thinking about Catherine and how she's not really learned as much about her as she would like. She does, although it doesn't surprise me. You weren't here. I mean, you were, but you weren't. I don't really understand what she meant. You don't really understand what she meant to us. You should be glad of that. Keep it that way. Hedwig, you must be exceedingly careful. This isn't the first time you've questioned me. What do you really mean? I don't think I need to say more. I'm afraid you must. Eustace gave me a piercing look for a moment, but then relented with a small sigh. Listen, I don't intend to be rude about it. You and I are very similar in some regards. But you acted at some point. No? But we both bristle easily at misunderstanding, don't we? I cannot disagree. Conversation is difficult. I understand. I can sense the question you're dancing around while talking to me, hoping that I'll answer without you asking. I just don't want you to wander into a situation you can't handle with someone else here. I can't fault your curiosity, but you must understand that losing Catherine II was shocking in many ways, for many people, for many reasons. Reasons that someone not deeply embedded in Lynborough could never understand. And you're worried I'll upset someone. More or less. I'm only trying to help you. I keep finding you swinging sticks around wasps' nests. Do I come across that way? A little girl swinging a toy sword around? Yes. The Superior meant well, but she had a bit too much faith in her own clever idea, I think. I was able to figure out what you were up to. Someone else might catch up. How can I not ask after Catherine? She's nowhere, but she is everywhere. She's been brought up to me several times without me asking. She's inescapable. She's the Rachel Amber of Lynborough. Even if I wasn't charged to investigate her death, I would have heard about her, and I would have been curious. I never even saw her body. I have no idea what she looked like, but nonetheless, everyone here has painted a picture of her in my mind. Listen, if it helps, you can just ask me. Ask anything you'd like. You don't have to try and bait it out of me. What happened? Eustace, in a bid to get Hedwig to stop asking the wrong people the wrong questions, offers to answer anything Hedwig has to ask. What happened the day it all happened? Well, I'd gotten up early to do some work in the library. Sister Charity found the body on her morning walk. She was beside herself. Catherine's body was in the middle of the cloister. She'd been beheaded, though later we discovered that wasn't her only wound. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Hedwig asks what happened that day. Eustace says she had gone into the library in the morning. Charity had come across the body in the middle of the cloister. Her head had been cut off, but it wasn't her only wound. Evidently, there was a struggle between her and her attacker. Believes there was a struggle between her and her attacker. Of course, we didn't have time to sit around and speculate. Marta comforted Charity while the rest of us scrambled around looking for the killer. I checked upstairs in the Misericorde in the library. I reasoned that those might be good hiding places. They all went to look. Wait. Marta went to comfort Charity, and the rest of them went to look for the killer. Eustace searched the Misericorde and the what? And library. I remember Darcy checking the dormitories. It was a day like any other. It felt strange. As if we were all still working as normal, off doing our separate tasks. It was still just a morning at the Abbey. When I couldn't find anyone in the library, I went downstairs to the Superior's office. Apparently, I was the first to think of letting her know. Eustace was the first to think of letting the Superior know. She and Angela were still preparing for the morning's liturgy. Yawny Yarnerson. But as soon as I told her what was happening, she joined the search. Eventually, we ran out of places to look that weren't already covered. I remember passing Adela, coming up from the cellars, and shaking her head. He was chatting with Angela about planning the liturgy. Is that what she said? I don't know. No, the score. No, the. I'm telling the Superior. She remembers passing Adela coming up from the cellars. So let's see. Angela told us what she remembers as well. This is a different story than from what Angela said. Charity found Catherine in the cloister, beheaded next to the murder weapon. She alerted the Superior, where Angela had been arguing with her all night. Angela ran into Eustace, coming up from the cellars, who she told to rouse the others and search the west side. That is a very different story from Eustace, who says that Charity found it, and then Eustace went there and then informed Superior herself, who was there with Angela, and that Adela was coming up from the cellar. The Superior, Moira, and I attended the body, while the search continued throughout the grounds. After that, the Superior, Moira, and Eustace attended to the body, while everyone else searched. We took Catherine's body into the chapel and laid her under the altar and covered her with a blanket until we could arrange a burial. It was probably for the best that Moira and I handled it. I think the two of us have the strongest constitutions out of anyone here. Eventually, Sister Angela hauled a young man in on his ear, who I vaguely recognized as being a delivery boy. They covered Catherine's body in cloth at the chapel. I guess a blanket at the chapel. Was it the chapel? I don't remember. Yeah. Before Angela came in dragging the farmer, or the farmhand, or whatever, James Foreman, by his ear. She said that she found him hiding in the east grounds. She did say that she did go to the east side, though. That part was true. I stressed that it was normal for him to be here in the mornings, and that the commotion could have just scared him, but then Darcy wandered in holding his traveling cloak. Eustace went to defend that James Foreman was supposed to be, was expected to be where he was. But then Darcy came in with his cloak. It was covered in blood. She said she had seen it in his cart. And that was that. The Superior and Moira dragged the fellow to the hospitalum, and yeah, here we are with a new chronicler. They took him straight to the hospitalum? Immediately. Everyone looked ready to tear him to pieces. You should have heard what some of the sisters were shouting as the Superior left. Moira and the Superior immediately took him to the hospitalum. Probably to protect him. Because the sisters apparently were very pissed. We're ready to tear him apart. There we go. Protective custardy. I had a donut with custard last night. It was pretty good. Custard filling. Yum. It doesn't seem right. Although I suppose it was better to lock him away in a dungeon than leave him at everyone's mercy. I spoke to him, you know, in the hospitalum. I know he could be a simple liar, but he pleaded so earnestly. What's so strange? It doesn't feel right to keep him there. Why does the hospitalum have a dungeon? Eustace's eyes narrowed. She stepped towards me without warning, pushing me into the flower bush uncomfortably. Hedwig, listen to me very closely. I thought that I had made it clear, but apparently I'm not getting through. Be careful. She held me by the scruff of my robe, and even though she was slightly shorter than me, I felt terribly threatened. Why can't you trust me? I'm doing everything in my power to help you. Laura wasn't careful, and look where we are now. I do not want to see anyone else getting hurt. I do not want to see you fall victim to your own meddling. I need you to stay out of this. I did not expect that Eustace would end up being, like, I guess Hedwig's closest, like, the person Hedwig ended up talking to the most, you know? I don't know what you're talking about, Eustace. Stay out of it! Is she crying? Hey, leave it alone! Her words seemed to echo around the garden for a few moments. Her demands even scared some of the birds away. Finally, she stepped off. She brushed off her robes, still looking at me intensely. You have to trust me. Whatever the Superior is putting you up to, you need to stop it. Please don't misunderstand me, Hedwig. I am on your side. Do you believe James killed her? Hedwig, do you believe it? No. Eustace gets upset that Hedwig does not seem to want to drop her investigation. However, Hedwig eventually gets her to admit that she also does not believe that James Foreman is the culprit. Then surely you understand that I can't just... I can sympathize, but you need to let it go. Are you trying to find the truth as well? Maybe we can work together. The most helpful thing you can do right now is nothing at all. So you're just going to let him take the blame? You let Catherine die in vain? You're treading on dangerous ground. Do you think me uncaring? Do you think this is easy? I think Catherine would have wanted justice to be done. You don't know a fucking thing about Sister Catherine. Not a thing. So don't pretend you know anything about what she would have wanted or what justice for her would look like. I know plenty. I know she was good at chess. I know she was a sharp reader. And I know she had a keen sense of what is and isn't fair. I heard about her letters to France and her thoughts on money. I know she fancied herself a warrior and tried to teach you all how to fight. I know she wanted to try new things and think about what they could do with her time on God's earth. And I know she liked plays. Well, that is correct. But it's like you said before, you know so much, but altogether very, very little. What then am I missing? I know that she's someone who wouldn't just be left in the lurch by her friends. I know people loved her, surely that's enough. That is only half of it. Hedwig, think about it. Everyone here loved her, is that it? Has everyone been sharing stories about how wonderful she is? Of course! And you don't believe James killed her? You don't believe it was some random murder? Neither do you! And that's just it. Hedwig, if that man didn't kill her, then someone here did. Not a ghost, not a bear. One of the sisters here. And that means that the things people loved about her, that's only half the story. You're saying someone is lying to me. You will never find an answer, because you will never fully grasp what her relationships here were like. I just want the truth, for her sake. Eustace began to chuckle, and then laugh heartily. I was stunned. This is in very poor taste. I'm not laughing at you, This is a screen cap of this face, by the way. What's gotten into you? How could I possibly convey everything I know that you don't? The idea that you'd understand is just... Oh yes, you're very proud of how intelligent you are, aren't you? The very thought of explaining what I know to someone who wasn't there. You didn't see her lying there. You can't possibly know. Is this... She was doubled over laughing now. It was slightly disturbing, to say the least, but it was her words that truly got under my skin. You didn't see your friend covered in blood. What would you know about it? All you've ever done is read books. All you ever do is speculate. You're poking around in stories you have no stake in. Events you weren't there for, is that right? Are you quite alright? You don't even know what she looked like. I saw her with my own eyes. Her head in her hands. Blood all over the place. I cleaned it all up. I was her dearest confidant, and I couldn't stop it. Alright. We gotta talk about the crash out now. Eustace has her own crash out. However, because she doesn't, because Hedwig refuses to believe that, she cannot understand Eustace's feelings on the matter. Yeah, we got a lot of crash outs. This is Crash Out Central. I don't even know if Volume 1 has a conclusion at all. Will we find out the murder? I don't think so. This is just Volume 1. There's already a Volume 2 out. I don't know what all we'll find out in this one, or if they're like the stories are self-contained or what. Alright. Now she cannot understand Eustace's feelings on the matter. Wait, why did I read that in the accent? That she cannot understand Eustace's feelings on the matter. She goes on about having to clean up Catherine's body afterward. And you think you could do better? I didn't mean to... I didn't know what to do. I tried my best to assume a comforting stance. Some sort of embrace. Although my arms never made it around Eustace's body. He jerked her head back and begins to try heave between her humorless maniacal laughs. Carried her by her legs with Moira. Like two ale wenches carrying a drunk at home. Her head kept falling off. Can you imagine it? Your friend's severed head rolling off her chest, bouncing on the stone, over and over. That is a pretty, harrowing thing to imagine. Down the chapel's front stairs. Stop it! You've made your point. And you know what? As brave a face as I put on, as stoic as I have to stay even now, Even I could not shake the feeling that even through her dead eyes, that she was looking straight at me. Stop! How perfectly horrible it was. Just the idea is devastating. Is it? Well, I saw it. Touched it. I was there. Dashing after it, a little super ball that just went like, yeah, right? Her hollow laughs had given way to bitter, dry sobs. I tried to pat her on the back, or something of the sort, anything that might comfort her. But she stood up straight as soon as I touched her, brushing me away. Promise me. Promise me you'll stay out of it. Please. Eustace! This mess, it's too much for me to bear. And I do understand the extent of it all. I was present for the whole affair, and I can't bring myself to do anything about it. I don't know who could be watching. I don't know what else might happen. Maybe that's why I can help? Why I should help? Eustace shook her head. No. There is nothing you can do. Nothing? I'm already... You don't know how much progress I've already made. Can't be much if you're still standing here. What's that supposed to mean? Whatever sort of conspiracy is playing out here, it would have to be all-consuming. I knew the instant the Superior announced you'd be joining us that it must have something to do with Catherine. If it was that obvious to me... I know that I'm being watched. I've seen someone. Perhaps more than one person, I can't know for certain. Figures in the shadows. That's always been me. A stupid practical joke. I did that to scare you off. But it didn't work, clearly. Maybe some of them. But I know it hasn't always been you. How? How could you possibly convince yourself of such a ridiculous... After she calms down, she again bids Hedwig to drop it. How better to summarize this segment? This is known since the Superior announced things. Announced Hedwig's rejoinder. Hedwig would be joining them. That it had to do with Catherine. She claims that all instances of the mysterious figure were her attempts to scare off Hedwig, although it didn't work. Hedwig, however, believes that it cannot possibly all be Eustace. Because I just saw them. Because I just saw them. She suddenly went very pale. You... on top of the wall. Not a quarter of an hour ago. Unless you can be in two places at once. It couldn't possibly have been you. Eustace wiped her face with a sleeve. Maybe that was someone else I put up to scare you. Maybe this is all just another trick of mine. I do not believe it is. And you should take my warnings even more seriously. Are there ghosts here? Devils? I don't know. But I know there is some malevolence at work at in this place that is real. It is hurting people, killing them. And I am trying to help you stay out of its gaze. Your concern is noted. I know there is a dark force at work in this place. It killed Catherine, and it's taken Flora. On that we can agree. But I'm not just doing this for the Superior. If Flora never showed her face here again, how would you feel? If you have any decency, you must feel wretched just imagining it. I feel that way without Catherine, and I never met her. All I have is one of her books and some of your stories, so I know you must feel worse than I do. I'm scared witless by the shadow. I worry is creeping in the shadows. But it would be worse to ignore it. And I'm not going to let it stop me. Not them, nor you. I will not let the devil win. I held no blade in my hands, but at that moment I felt I could have taken on an army by myself. I breezed past the dumbfounded Eustace back toward the Abbey. I put her behind me and walked as fast as I could. I could hear her shouting behind me as I put distance between us. Hedwig remains determined that she needs to find out what happened. Eustace, Angela, Superior. They were all making demands of me, but I served one and one alone. Hedwig! Leave it be! Leave it alone! Hedwig! Listen to me! Was someone struck by lightning? The search continued well into the evening. As darkness fell, the weather turned foul. It was pouring now, the stone walls rumbling as rolling thunder shook the mountain itself. Hi, Charity. We all gathered in the chapel again. From a quick glance around the room, I gathered that everyone had returned empty-handed. Charity took the altar again, looking grim. No joy. That is rather worrying. She's still covered in... Moira? Did you not clean up? Let's see. Searching for Flora. They meet up at the chapel. They all meet up at the chapel, but nobody has had any joy. Has found her. Has found Flora. We've looked everywhere. I explored places I'd never been before. Everyone had put in a lot of work, it seemed. There had been no time to relax or get changed. Some of our frocks were still covered in wine. It would have been motivating had the situation been slightly less grim. The determination I had felt after my conversations with Eustace was being tested. All the secret passages? I'm sure Margot would have checked some. I wanted to blurt out I had a good idea of where Flora might be. We could all walk down that hallway together. Surely there was nothing frightening down there that nearly a dozen women could not face. But if someone here was responsible for some grand plan I did not understand, would I just be putting Flora in more danger? Would I be placing myself in harm's way? Appearing too observant, too clever? I could make myself the next target if I spoke up now. Girl, please! All of you are fucking here! I tried not to think about which of these two arguments swayed me more. Stressing over my plan was putting my stomach in knots. I suppose someone else might suggest what I could not, but that was never going to happen. My cell was not and had never been on anyone's mind. Hedwig waffles about whether she should tell everyone that Flora might be in her cell. My cell had never been in any of these women's hearts. As I looked around the chapel, I noticed that Marta was standing off to the side of the chapel alone. She looked gaunt and weak. I'd been consistently surprised by her figure up until now, but for the first time she looked her age. Well, is there anywhere that has not been scoured? The cellars, the croft. Those were my first ideas. I see. And I know Adela looked in the same places after I did. I think that all of us may have individually checked everywhere, one after the other. We've all doubled up. I do not doubt the people put the back into it. I am worried. Oh wait, that was Charity talking the first. I really hope she's safe. If only we had looked a little harder last night. It's not your fault. Missing for one night, that's just acting out. Missing for 2 nights. We've done everything we can today, I'm afraid. I think we all need to rest and try again tomorrow. My feet are killing me. No, we have to keep looking. I understand how seriously we're all taking this, but we should take a breather. A night's sleep is all we need right now. We'll expand out beyond the grounds tomorrow, I think. I don't need any of you falling asleep and rolling down the hill. Flora missing is quite enough, thank you. Everyone seemed to agree, albeit reluctantly. Everyone seems to believe they've searched everywhere twice over. So it's a good time to get some rest and try again tomorrow. When I left Eustace in the garden, a plan had formed in my mind. I had a sneaking suspicion where Flora was, but I dared not share it with the rest of the sisters. There was a place I was certain nobody had checked. A place I knew even Margaret had likely avoided, even if she had considered it. The thought terrified me, but I knew I had to check, for Flora's sake. We filed out of the chapel back toward the dorms through the storm. I really hope she isn't out in this weather. If she is, I would wager she is safe. She is young and resourceful. Remember when Catherine taught us all how to make fires? I do. You're right. She's probably having a more comfortable night than us. Adela rubbed Moira's shoulders reassuringly, then broke off to go talk to Angela. Did someone tell the Superior what we did today? I wouldn't. I went to try and talk to her earlier, and I could hear her sobbing, even through that thick door of hers. Darcy wonders if they should tell the Superior what they had been doing all day. But Marta says, not a good idea. The Superior, she'd heard the Superior crying in her office. I imagine she's been getting shouted at by the Bishop all day. I don't think we should talk to her until we have good news. Oh dear. Oh dear. The moment I sat down on my bed, I had a sinking feeling that I was not going to be able to sleep before I had got a chance to test my theory. I could just sense it. No, my bones told me. I sighed and rolled back into my bed fully dressed. Rolled onto my back fully dressed. Alright. Hedwig believes she won't be able to sleep until after she checks the tests out her theory. I stared at the ceiling for a while. The thick stone walls gave us a great deal of privacy, and I had to strain to hear the slightest indication that the others were getting ready for bed. I thought about cracking open the copy of Medea that Catherine had written for me, but I remembered the subject matter and decided now was not the right time. I said a little prayer, asking for some guidance. No wisdom came to me, but then I sheepishly remembered that I'd been granted a vision not too long ago. As always, asking for too much and doing far too little. For at least now, I stewed in my own thoughts. I tossed and turned, trying to find a position in my bed that didn't get uncomfortable after a few minutes. I scratched itches that weren't really there, and attempted to fluff my pillow into a shape that would grant me sleep the instant my head touched it. I just started getting comfortable, I swear, when I heard a strange sound carrying on outside my door. I hopped out of bed and stepped out onto the hall. And she struggles. Trying to. For an hour. Before she hears a strange sound outside. It was almost pitch black out there, save for the embers pulsing in the fireplace. Nobody else, it seemed, was bothered enough by the noise to poke their head out like I had. I sighed. I hoped dimly that it had been Flora returning to her dorm. I retrieved and lit a candle from the mantelpiece. There was no use torturing myself in bed any longer. Now, which room was Flora's? I knew Catherine's room was next to mine, and had the squeaking door. I remembered Moira's room had inky paw prints leading out of it, next to Catherine's. Darcy's was on the very end of my row, closest to the hearth. I chanced the door I couldn't place. Not so nosy, but if I could spare myself a horrid adventure into that hole. Wonders if it's perhaps Flora's. Flora coming back. Her, dorm. She peeks into a room she believes is Flora's. Ever so gently, I pushed the unfamiliar door with my finger. I realized this was not a particularly wise idea. The door swung inward. Not only was it rude, it was conspicuous. I pushed this door in just a little more before thinking better of it. Before I relented, however, I caught something odd. I could hear at least 2 people breathing on the other side of this door. almost pushing the door slightly. Inside, she hears two, people breathing. At least two people breathing. They must have been discussing where else to look for Flora, I reasoned, and gone late into the night out of concern. Or perhaps a darker voice in my head suggested that they had been scheming on what cruelties to enact on her next. Then I heard a startling sound. It had come from far away, but even so, it was blood-curdling. I scampered out of the dormitories and onto the landing. I did my best to seal myself. Only I thought to demand Eustace to lend me her sword when I found the courage to stand up to her in the garden. Then, blood-curdling sound echoes down the hallway. It sounded like a scream of some sort. What would it have to do? I heard it again. This time it was mixed with that same hair-raising whine I'd heard in my cell's hallway. Comes a second time. This time, accompanied by the wail she'd heard the night before. My heart stopped. That was definitely a woman yelling. Screaming? I panicked. Was I too late? I had not told any of the others about my theory. Flora was hiding in my old cell. None of them could know. If Flora was a target of someone's dark machinations the way Catherine had been, I had to be the one to find her. I picked up my pace and jogged toward the dark hallway's crossing. The huge door was rattling in the wind again, but this wasn't the source of the sound I was chasing. It was definitely coming from the darkest hole, the one my cell was in. The one that evil sigil was in. I froze for a moment, unsure what to do. The pride had been deducing the one place nobody would have thought to check had been enough to make me forget about that. The pricket spike could defend me in a pinch if I were to face to face with Flora's human attacker. But if it was some devil summoned by that magic circle, could I go down there alone? Should I rouse the superior? Did I have time to rouse anyone? That was that horrible wail again, gave me my answer. However small, however vulnerable, however powerless I felt, I knew that there was no time to double back. Demonic sigils be damned. I was a woman of faith. I could withstand whatever it summoned. I sprinted down the hole into the darkness. The candle blew out almost instantly, but I didn't have time to care. She sprints into the dark hallways, but as she sprints to the dark hallway, her candle is blown out. I ripped the wax off the pricket to expose the sharp point. It wasn't much, but this would have to serve as my sword for now. Don't kill anyone by accident. I like how it says danger over there. I rushed headlong toward this terrible sound, clutching the candle pricket with both hands as if I were wielding a mighty claymore. A face rushed out of the darkness. That is definitely Flora. Hedwig! Run! It all happened too quickly for me to register that I had been correct. Flora blew past me, nearly knocking me over. I did not have time to ask what was happening. I could hear the terrifying stomp of boots echoing throughout the halls. I sprinted through the black hole to the dim light ahead of us and turned toward the giant rattling door. Flora bolted straight past it, past the hallway that would take us back toward the dorms. Then Flora comes barreling straight toward her, telling her to run. Where are you going? Away from here! I was about to break left from the dormitories when I saw exactly why Flora had avoided that path. I caught a glimpse of evil eyes and felt the dull thud of metal boots against the floor close by. Flora's pursuer had navigated to cut us off. I screamed and sprinted as fast as I could after Flora. We made it to the door. I didn't even want to think about how close our pursuer was. Where were you? What's happening? Help me open this now! She was pushing against the imposing door with all her might, but it wouldn't budge. I threw my meager weight against the edge of it to try and help, but it was so heavy I felt I might as well have been pushing against the stone wall. Someone was chasing her. They make a break for it, but they're cut off by the chaser. They struggle to get through the heavy door that slammed on that one night. The wind was pressing it shut, and two small women whose shoes were slipping over the flagstone floor weren't doing much to combat it. My fingers were in danger of being caught in the jam every time the door buckled, but I kept pushing. I turned my head and caught a glimpse of the monster bearing down on us. Tall and as terrible as I remembered. But this time it was enveloped in a cloud of smoke. The thing chasing them was tall and enveloped in smoke. What is happening? Amber crackled around its soulless eyes. There was no oiled sword this time. The monster brought the fairy fires of hell with it. Eustace! This isn't funny! Even though I knew it couldn't be her, I pleaded just in case. I still had a dim hope that this was just another prank. That Eustace had been telling the truth after all. But the creature was unmoved. The giant oaken door finally swung open just enough for me to slip through. I turned to try and yank Flora out with me, grabbed a handful of whatever cloth I could find and made it outside, but the door caught her foot as I pulled her through. Help! I held onto her free hand with both of mine. She helped, and I could tell the monster on the other side of the threshold had grabbed onto her. Hedwig makes it through the door, but Flora is grabbed. Don't let go! I won't! I won't! Her face contorted and twisted as the door squeezed her ankle. At the very least, it was doing enough to keep the demon from pulling her away from me. If it had not been for the slab of wood, I doubt I would have been able to help at all. Hedwig! The wind let up for a moment, and the sudden lack of force set us off both off balance as the weight of the door lifted. We fell down, and the door swung open just far enough to see that our attacker had let go of Flora as well. She was scrambling towards me on all fours, but the beast lurched forward to snatch her again. I held my hands out to hold on to the poor girl's arm. The air pressure shifts, and the door flies open, sending Flora to the ground. But freed from the thing's grasp. My fingers gripped my frock, and I held her wrist as tightly as I could, but I knew I could not combat this monster alone. The wind picked up again, and as both of us got hold of Flora, the door slammed again with a sickening crunch. I managed to pull Flora clear of the beast's lunge, but I hadn't been fast enough to keep her leg from being crushed by the door. She wailed as I attempted to pull her free. Shut again, crushing Flora's leg. I couldn't manage it, and I was terrified that the door would pull her broken leg right off as I yanked any harder. Pull! Pull! I can't! She's holding onto you! I don't know! Can't feel anything! She was sobbing and screaming. I planted my feet against the wall and pulled her towards me. By some miracle, the wind let up just enough for the door to loosen its grip on Flora's leg. They pull. They managed to pull her free. We tumbled backward in a heap. My head hit the floor with a crack, and for a moment my vision faded. My eyes slowly regained focus, and I looked up into the threshold. A twisted creature was looming over us. I closed my eyes once more and braced myself for the end, and hoped despite everything that I would see heaven. But death never came. But Hedwig tumbles to the ground, smacking her head. Who needs legs when you have faith? Can faith make you walk? When I opened my eyes, the monster was gone. The door swung shut again, slower this time. The wind was still blowing, but it had died down just a little. Flora wasn't moving. I shook her gently in an attempt to rouse her. There. I think it's gone. She did not answer. I held onto her tight and stared up into the night sky. What a mess I'd made of everything. Raindrops pelted my face. I knew I had to move, but I was wholly leaden. The events of the past few weeks and the brutal dismantling of my steady faith were weighing me down. I scarcely recognized myself, and I actively tried to reject the situation I found myself in. The pain in the back of my head was... That's Red Bull! The pain in the back of my head was getting unbearable. I squeezed my eyes shut. I'm dreaming, I remember thinking. This is not real. Those cards even told me. No. I could not consider pagan frivolities. I was a faithful anchoress. I was simply having a long, horrible nightmare. Another vision. When you open your eyes, again I told myself, you'll be home. You'll be back in your cell, dry and warm, your oath intact, and maybe you'll be able to try it all over again. I had no such luck. God damn it! That's volume 1, alright. Well, and so ends volume 1. Well, I wonder how many volumes. Okay, let's look at how many volumes are planned for this. Volume 2 is already out. The story so far bundle. Oh, 44% off for part 2. Sounds good, actually. Do we know how many volumes are planned? Where does it say? I guess this must be what Hedwig. This must be Hedwig. This is what Hedwig looks like. White wool. There's a sheep. Yeah, no. There's a sheep in or there's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Obviously. Also, it's winter now. Does it say how long? What the plan is? Is there like a blog post for this game? I don't know. I'll have to look it up later. I'll probably pick up the sequel, and maybe we'll cover that in a bit. We'll see. But I guess as we finish volume 1. Also a little bit early, by the way. I think on Saturday we will either have no stream. I'm not sure yet. It's July the 4th, and I don't know if there's anything I have to worry about on July 4th at the moment. But if we do have stream, we'll be playing A Message from Outer Space, which I haven't installed yet right now. I haven't installed the full version yet. I already bought it. We're gonna be playing that. You think Darcy did it all with mushroom extracts? There is a lot of stuff that we don't know. I wonder if this will be the only mystery. I've heard this game get compared to Umineko, and that game had a lot more deaths in it than just the one so far in just the first chapter. So we'll see, I guess. I need to actually read Umineko, by the way. We should read Umineko. I hear it's very long though, so I don't know if I should do it on stream. But yeah, this is neat. I'm kind of wish there was a little bit more of a conclusion. Like, we know at the very least that there is something fucking weird happening here, but it's really hard to say what. I'm glad we found Flora. Too bad about her leg though. She's gonna be a right terror, I assume, since she won't have to be doing anything. Hopefully she doesn't lose it. But yeah, everything was rationing up this episode, so it did feel like it was about time for everything to end. I wonder what the letters on the sword, or the description on the sword is supposed to mean. I'm curious. Decent cliff to hang it up on. True! Additional sound effects for Krotos Foley. Engine. They have a very complete version number for Renpai over here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out more. But god, this story is long. Finish the translation. I guess we could see, we try to look up what any of that means. I do have it written down, right? A huge thank you to everyone and anyone who made a stock image recording your tool that was used in this production. You made this solo project possible. I wonder what tools they would have needed. Because this is a pretty straightforward, like, Renpai visual novel, right? They're not doing anything particularly different. Except maybe, like, they disabled rolling back. By the way, there was, like, a whole big to-do about rolling back. Because originally the author of Renpai was a big believer in, like, if you're gonna let people save whenever they want, what's the problem with allowing them to just roll back everything? And they didn't provide a functionality to disable rollback. And I guess they eventually added it after much coaxing from the community. But anyway, I guess there's no need to save. Let's save the nothing. But yeah, I wonder what tools were actually involved here. Because it seems pretty standard Renpai. Maybe it's just like the location markers on the sides and stuff. Or maybe they had tools for just making things easier. England, 1483. It is growing rather late, isn't it? I apologize, but I think I will leave my story there for tonight. I did not cover anything close to what I consider the full story, but that is a rather exciting place to leave things, is it not? Even if you know what happens, there's still a sense of, I don't know. I felt something recalling these misadventures, even though I had lived them. Do you know how things turned out? No, don't tell me who you are. I am getting some enjoyment out of imagining telling this story to an impartial audience. Please don't be as frustrated with me for stopping here. My investigation just barely started. Demon tools? That would make sense. Do people still use demon tools? Is that necessary? Isn't that basically just built into Windows at this point? Like, I remember I'd have to use it to install, to have, like, virtual disk drive, or virtual CD-ROM drives. That's what it was for, right? Am I misremembering? But now you can just use, like, ISO, you just open up ISOs. Just mount them willy-nilly. Alright. I guess she's back in her little cell now. Oh, Windows won't do the copyright defeat part. True, sure. But how often do you deal with CDs anyway? I guess it depends on your vocations and hobbies. I promise you that all of these details are important. I may not have realized it at the time. In fact, I only just noticed the importance of some things after speaking them out loud to you. So really, I must thank you. I confide something in you. This is the first time that I feel I understand the job of a chronicler. Or rather, I finally have something worth chronicling. And someone to tell those chronicles too. It's a shame that it took so long for me to feel inspired. And that these are such awful events. But I suppose that the worst events are the ones that need the best records. Would you agree? In that spirit, I can offer you some of my notes. I believe I have some from the appropriate time I can share with you. Here. They aren't much, but you can peruse these while I prepare for our next meeting. Anyway, I must rest. We can continue this soon. Thank you for listening to me prattle on and on. I'll be ready to share more before you know it. Alright, can we see the notes? Are we gonna see the notes? Oh, gallery. Let's go. Let's look at all the little unique images. Why does it load so slowly? The sword. We never did get that one. There's Charity sitting with Marta. Oh no, I think we did get that one. Here's a more lit up version of this one. Crying Margaret. Look at them holding their swords. Look at her. She did it. It was Moira. She did what she wanted to be the only Irish person here. Okay, so we don't know what Catherine looks like. This is Hedwig. Matthew, 2652. She looks so sad. Former anchoress, current spy. Superior. I must remain polite as I write this. I respect the work that goes into running an abbey greatly. I understand her desire to find justice in a terrible situation. Let's look at what Matthew 26:52 is. I guess we're still here. Put your sword back in its place. Oh, it's this part. Jesus said to him, "For all who draw the sword will die by the sword." Catherine. Catherine is boorish and vain, but worst of all, she's incredibly clever. She's clearly impulsive, as evidenced by facts I am too pure to write. Girl, please. I'm unsure how sincere her eulogy for Catherine was. She makes it sound like they had a very competitive friendship. There are also rumors about her life before the Abbey that give me pause. They give her pause. She's turning into a cat as we speak. No, why is something in my eye? Stop it. I don't want to rub my eye the whole time. Quiet and calm, very talented. At first I was at a loss at how she and Catherine could be such close friends, but they both have a wicked sense of humor. They're too clever by half. Margaret knows all of the passageways around the Abbey. She also showed me a terrible etching deep within the walls. She and Catherine seem to have been very close. Insta-nun. Dabbler. Almoner. Abbess. I like how it just says her, lists her as superior. We know her name now, it's Mabel. This is what happened to Mabel after she grew up. She couldn't hang out with Dipper anymore, so she ended up back in time and a nun. I'm not sure what to make of my colleague. Her flat affect makes it difficult to understand what she really thinks. We do not share the same sense of humor, and she can be cruel. But so can I'm discovering, and Eustace is very forgiving. You know something I do not. I'm worried what that might be. Lynn Barrow's Algavisionist. Lynn Barrow's own little Hildegard. She cooks, she brews, she cares for all of the plants and animals. I must admit I didn't expect any of that from her when we first met. Her manner of speaking is even flatter than Eustace's. Perhaps that is why they get along. Darcy is also by far the most honest about her complex relationship with Catherine. I really hope it wasn't her. Oh Lord, please grant me strength to turn the other cheek. I do not like or trust this woman. She is from a convent in Italy. I wish she would go back there. Dang. I take a small amount of comfort knowing I'm not the only one who cannot stand her. Catherine in particular seems to despise her. I don't think she killed Catherine, but I know precious little about the relationship. I have to imagine it was very combative as ours. It was combative as ours. Moira is very kind and strong. Catherine's death moved her deeply. I'm impressed by her knowledge and the amount of work she is responsible for around the Abbey. She doesn't like the villagers much. That is so little to say about Moira. We know nothing about Moira, which makes her incredibly suspicious. She was the most recent oblate before I made to leave my cell. I believe she said she was from Spain, but her mother is Italian. She hasn't said much about Catherine to me yet. She's much more interested in battle strategy. Flora's frustrated. Like, we've hung out with Moira a lot, but we know nothing about her. Flora is frustrating. Later today, I am to begin teaching her how to draw. I'm not sure I can. I've never taught anyone anything so directly. I'm more adept at offering spiritual advice. She doesn't seem to take her faith seriously, which concerns me. So this happened a little while ago then. She wrote this a couple nights ago. Oblate. Infirmer. Prior. I'm not really sure what she does. Cellar keeper. The eldest member of the congregation, but not the superior. I wonder what that is. I suppose she could be a latecomer to Linbarrow. Her and Charity both seem to have moved around a lot. At first I thought she was kind and wise, but the more I hear from her, the more uneasy I am around her. She's wise, but she's cold. Some of her behavior reminds me of my most vindictive thoughts, which embarrasses and humbles me. Charity is gregarious and kind. She discovered Catherine's body, and I can scarcely bring myself to ask her about all that whenever I see her big soft smile. She seems to have seen a lot in her life, and she's served at several abbeys. I wonder why she's settled here. I also wonder how she puts up with Marta's cynical exterior. We haven't spoken much, save for her reassurance about Angela. He's rather pathetic, and I do find it hard to believe he killed anyone. His family seemed willing to believe it, however. I'm not sure what to make of that. I feel compelled to protect him. This man made me an anchoress. I cannot look at him without wondering how disappointed he must be in me for allowing myself to be dragged out of my cell. Oh, I guess we didn't look at Catherine. A friendship that was cut before it could fully bloom. I've never seen her face, and I miss her dearly. I've never heard so much about her good works. I've heard so much about her good works, but I have so many questions about what seem to be her flaws. I feel ghastly picking over the remains of her relationships, but I suppose it has to be done. Who is this? This doesn't look like Hedwig. That doesn't look like this image that we have of Hedwig. It looks the most like Angela of all people. Is it just me who thinks that looks the most like Angela? Maybe the Superior. Oh yeah, but Catherine's a question mark. But it could be Catherine, yeah. It could also be the Superior. It looks a little like her too. The Superior and Angela don't look that much different. It's mostly their expressions. But the Superior doesn't have colored eyelids. Angela does. And this one is hard to tell because it's colored, but it has more colored eyelids than the Superior does. Angela's eyebrows look a little thicker though, but it's hard to say because it's very pixelated. Oh, Hedwig. Why does this picture of Hedwig look so different from this one? It's like they couldn't decide what her face looked like. This one looks more mysterious, more emo. This one looks more pathetic. But I think the consistent thing about what they showed of Hedwig has been that it shows her fringe a little bit through the wimple, whatever this part is. Hair leak. She's got a hair leak, yes, it's true. They don't show the other side of the sword where it doesn't have the where it doesn't have this written down. Wait. Wait, what? Did this happen? I don't think this happened. What is this? Where, what? What the fuck? Oh, steady on. This is interesting. Are you Catherine? Oh, this is fun. That never happened, did it? I'd say it was my mistake, but it wasn't really. I might have let it slip. On purpose. She hates it when I fiddle with her hobbies. The fuck is this? Alright, notes. On looking at the gallery, there's an image that didn't happen. When looking here, a mysterious nun with her bangs covering her face, her eyes, mentions that it was her mistake. Do you believe that? A bit rude not to share. Especially with dear, close friends. Even ruder to hide from friends, if you ask me. We're due for a reunion, I think. All thanks to you. Who are you? Don't look so nervous. You've helped me, and I am a very generous woman. I can tell you like to read. At least I hope you do, if you made it this far. How about a little more? I think you'll find this interesting. I find it lying around, somewhere or other. And she tells us that she's got something else to show her. To show us. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but what is? What is happening? What is going on? It's a video. Or somehow in the modern age at an airport? Ma'am? I would really appreciate it if we could avoid causing a scene. I bought this ticket. This is bullshit. Ma'am, please. I ain't stopping you from getting on the plane. I'm just warning you that you may need to remove your piercing to get through security. Why? They're gonna reflect off the rearview mirror? They're gonna mess with the radar? Do they look explosive or something? Sweetie, can you not say the X word so loud? It's called Twitter. A woman is being warned by the ticket guy, ticket agent, that her piercings will need to be removed for security. And she's making a fuss. What is happening? You're making the other people in line nervous. Sorry, which word? Explosive? That doesn't start with an X, sir? A few of the clerks next to the woman I was speaking to glanced over, eyebrows raised. Oh, where the ticket keeper? Oh no, where the woman? So this the woman is narrating. All right, so the ticket keeper is a woman though. I was getting a kick out of making these people squirm. I got to admit. It was beyond bullshit that I was being told to remove my piercings just to go through airport security. Yes, stop saying it so loud or at all. Not to mention your jacket. After heading hastily into her terminal for a few more seconds, the woman finally handed back my passport. The ticket sputtered out of a loud machine. I just snatched it before she had a chance to take it. Have a pleasant flight. I do apologize if I caused any offense by commentating on your jewelry and stuff. Something tells me you don't want everyone about the metal detector. Just trying to be helpful, ma'am. I rolled my eyes and stepped away. It's a good thing I'd gotten to the airport early. The woman is the narrator. It's a good thing I'd gotten to the airport early. I was hungry as fuck. I heaved my backpack onto my shoulders and set off toward the terminal. Figured I'd at least have time to grab a snack before I got on the plane. There was a decent amount of folk in line to get through the detector. The line moved quick, so when I got to the security guy, he sort of gave me this oh great look. All metal objects in the bin with your bag, please. I rolled my eyes and started dechroming myself. Studded bracelets off, nose ring off, earrings out, vest off, and more studs. We've got a punk here. She eventually gets through. Far enough that she does have to remove all of everything for security. The list of things. Studded bracelets. Nose ring. Earrings. Studded vest. Why the hell would you wear all that to the airport? Man, shut up. The guard raised his eyebrows and opened his mouth to say something, but quickly stopped me when he saw me lean over to rest one arm against the x-ray machine next to the metal detector and reach down to my leg. I probably should have opted for one of the wheelchairs outside the terminal to get around the airport, but fuck it. I had a lot of energy ahead of this trip and I want to travel light. Alright. Also her leg. I dunked my leg into the bin with the rest of my shit and hopped toward the guard. Gonna do a little spin thing through it. The guy stepped back a bit, let me put one arm through the metal detector, and jumped through it, both arms against the conveyor belt that fed out of the X-ray machine. Slick. A few people standing waiting in line behind me clapped. I rolled my eyes. My bag and bits came through across the belt. I took a second to put myself back together and to thank God that none of my other piercing had set the machine off. When I was putting my jacket back on, the guard commented on my back patch. Don't know if I'd wear that to the airport. Gonna do something about it. He laughed. Easy. You're at, like, here. He held his hand up in the air, and I'm, like, way down here. Where are you flying? You see, she goes through the detector with a move that impresses the guard and some of the other people in line. And the guard starts to chat. Where are you flying? The UK. Oh, you're gonna need to come way down from up there. That's a long flight. What's it to you? He was waving. Okay. The woman is planning to go to the UK. He was waving more people through as I put my studs and rings back on. Nothing at all, just don't like seeing people fly mad. Not sure that's your jurisdiction, cop. I'm a cop? You think you're not a cop? Got a real boring beat for a cop. You got a badge and everything. It's a private security gig, man. So you're like a mole cop. Man, I wish. I get to talk more, I think. Or walk more, I think. Yeah, well, still a cop. How many of those doodads and piercings do you have anyway? More than you'll ever see. Ma'am, I promise you, I'm not bringing hostility to this conversation that you're perceiving. Sorry. Just, you know. Do I? It was hard not to grin at this guy, profession aside. Cop. Folks are passing by and taking their bags as the guard waved them through. What's your name? Alex. Her name is Alex. Is that real or just what you tell the cops? No, that's real. I don't tell cops anything. Yeah, that's good. We're opening a dialogue. Not real cops. Ouch. Let's see. That's good. Damn, I feel like Jimmy Carter. We're building a real framework for peace here. Man, fuck off with that. Shoot. I got you back up again after all that. Look, I don't know what any of that political shit means. I just hear the news in the break room sometimes. Here's what it is, I guess. I finally finished getting my shit together and turned away from the conversation to head toward the terminal. Is the Jimmy Carter thing, I wonder, is that meant to be topical or is that meant to be a historical reference? She's acting like it's topical. She also doesn't like cops. Jimmy Carter comes up, and it sounds topical. I finally finished getting my shit together and turned away from the conversation to head toward the terminal. Have a good flight now, ma'am. Uh-huh. Look, I don't have time right now. But if I ever see you again, I'm gonna recommend you some books to help explain some stuff, alright? I winced as soon as the words spilled out. It sounded cooler in my head. I don't know how, I don't know, but I swear it did. Okay then. Looking forward to it. Widow. Even with all those distractions, I'd ended up with some time before my flight. Figured I'd grab a burger or something, go over my itinerary, etc, etc. Fast food place was pretty busy. The line moved quickly enough, and I soon had a nice bag of garbage to fuel me through an international flight. There weren't any free tables, but there was an empty bar stool near the front of the place, at the long table where the single travelers were eating. Will you read them to me, Alex? Will you read them to me, Alex? At the very least, it would have been empty if there wasn't a handbag on it. You good if I sit here? A weird lady, of course. Alex goes to grab some food and goes for some food and grabs a seat next to a woman labeled weird lady. My stool was in the corner next to the wall. My neighbor was a preppy-looking woman wearing a purple knitted turtleneck. She had a pair of those big hoop earrings, bright red lipstick, stick-on nails, bangs that covered her eyes. Oh, it's her. Not really my scene, but fuck it. I wasn't gonna eat standing up. She lifted the bag up onto the table and drummed her fingers against the seat. The red pleather was faded and cracked, and I got up close, and I could, when I got up close, I could see the bar stools and tables were covered in rude graffiti. Alright, let's see the description. She's preppy looking. With a purple knitted turtleneck, press-on nails, and bangs that covered her eyes. Similar to the... Alright, I don't need to write similar. It already says right there that it's bangs that covered her eyes. Bright red lipstick and bangs that covered her eyes. Thanks. My pleasure, darling. Where are you headed? Burger Town. She chuckled as I unwrapped my food. Didn't know they had an airport there. England. Oh wait, didn't know they had an airport there. England. Oh no, that's funny. Me as well. Gate 17. The 3 o'clock. That's the one. Small world. Gone homo. Oh, okay. Weird lady also has an accent. Maybe we need to swap their voices. Did the accent give it away? She definitely played it up a little for that response. Good to know it's back to normal then. Could have passed for a real valley girl before I go to the terminal. Always pick up a bit of local flavor wherever I'm visiting. So, like, got your English voice back when you started thinking about home. That's cool. Something like that. It's all a bit mental. I can say that here, of course. That's ruder in the UK. Yeah? You shouldn't say mental. And trucks are lorries. And do you smoke? Gave it away. Oh, try not to get cross if anyone offers you. Chill. Chill. I knew that one. Well, that's good then. She looked real pleased with herself. She's going home to England on the same flight as Alex. The 3 o'clock at gate 17. I remembered. Right? I remembered. Right? Yeah. She looks real pleased with herself. Never had much patience for people who like testing boundaries for fun, but I had nowhere else to go. Besides, who knows who else I would meet if I left. I was running into some real ed cases today. Visiting family then? Yeah? Yeah. Whereabouts, if you don't mind me asking? Up north a ways? England to visit family. Somewhere up north. Got a long-ass bus ride once I get to Heathrow. My bus. Isn't it funny how big a place like that can feel? Sure. You could probably fit in Cali, right? Oh, easily. Mind if I steal a chip? Huh? Oh, my mistake. A fry. Sure. Thank you kindly. The press on nails didn't help, but I felt a little freaked out watching her pluck exactly one fry out of the box with her long fingers. Kinda looked like one of those nature shows where an eagle pulls the guts out of a fish or something. She ate it very carefully. I guess she had to. Her lipstick was pretty intense, and there wasn't a crumb of spot of grease on anything or on her expensive-looking outfit. I do quite like those. Terrible for me, of course, but what isn't, eh? It's what I can afford. Lights ain't cheap, turns out. Too right. She sucked her thumb and finger clean and tried them on one of my napkins. Well, safe travels. Yeah, sure. Thanks. She smiled at me. Oh, she smiled at me and slid off her bar stool with a clack. I realized she was wearing expensive heels. Too expensive for anyone I've ever seen eating shit fast food at LAX. Woman asks for a fry. Or a chip, rather. Then, she walks off. Alex notes that her outfit is dreadfully expensive for someone eating fast food at LAX. So we're in LA. That makes sense, I guess. That is definitely gonna be a long flight. You're crossing the States and then the Atlantic? I heard her footsteps across the tile floor as she left. I finished my burger and stuffed all the crap in the paper bag to throw away. As I got off the seat, I realized that woman's handbag was still on the counter. She left her handbag, however. Ah, fuck. I really didn't feel like running errands, but if we're gonna be on the same flight... I took the bag and got going toward the gate. I might as well screen cap this, why not? I spent way too long eating that shitty burger because when I finally got to the gate, they were already boarding. Technically, I think I was supposed to get on the plane first. Oh well. Guess I can't do that if I ain't there. Just so you know, ma'am, you can only put one bag under the seat. Yeah, I got it. I almost said that the handbag wasn't mine, but I realized that was probably not the best thing to tell someone right before getting on a plane. Have you ever been on a plane? It was my first time. It feels weird on planes. As soon as you step in, it feels like the air is constantly being sucked away from you. Which I guess it kind of is. That's how, like, you know, the air conditioning or whatever works. It's like you're yawning even when you're not yawning. Or like you've got earplugs in even though you don't. Feels like dog shit, that's for sure. I was looking around for the woman I'd met at the fast food place, but I couldn't see her anywhere. Everyone was standing in the aisles, putting their bags away, taking their jackets and sweaters off, etc., etc. Alex takes it with her to the flight that she can give it back, but she can't find the woman. It's gonna be impossible to find her. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you're gonna need to make some room. Do you need help finding your seat? Oh no, sorry about that. Shit. I wasn't far from my seat, but I was real nervous about keeping this lady's bag with me. What if I got all the way to a foreign country with someone else's shit? And you're carrying a bomb, right? What if she'd been wrong about the flight she was on? Would that be like an international crime? The last thing I needed was Interpol coming after my ass over some rich lady's handbag. I sat down on my window seat and tried to stay calm. I figured I could at least wait until we were in the air, and I could walk around and make sure she wasn't on the flight before panicking too hard. Now here's a coincidence. Oh, thank God. Until she finds out they're seated next to each other. Hey, you left your bag on the table earlier. She put her hands over her chest and opened her mouth like a fish. Oh my God, thank you. I would have been proper diva if I'd left it behind. She sat down next to me and I handed her the bag. She started reaching around inside to check if anything had gotten lost. Oh, here. And she pulled out a fat wad of bills and a money clip. Let's see. Oh no, you don't got it. She licked her thumb, peeled off a small stack of bills and handed them to me. Wait, peeled off a small stack of bills and handed them to me. Don't be silly. This is $250. Pounds, love. But yeah? Little pocket money for your trip, yeah? Well, thanks. The woman is thankful, and gratefully, and pays her £250. I have this, right? How do I do this properly? I can't do it like that. Let's see. No, wrong one. Wait, wrong one again. There, that's the right one. There you go. Not emoticons. This is different from the Windows 7 one. Or Windows 10 one. Currency symbol, there you go. Well, thanks. Not at all. Thanks for bringing me my bag. I knew you were alright when I first saw you. Weird. What a coincidence we're in the same row, eh? Guess so. Wanted something in the smoking section. Oh, me as well. I take it you don't mind then. Ah, go for it. She reached into her bag and pulled out the most ridiculous pack of cigs I'd ever seen. The whole box was gold. They're sitting in the smoking section. Has the plane even taken off yet? Are you allowed to smoke before the plane's taken off? And the woman pulls out a gold box of cigarettes. Her lighter was almost a perfect match. How are those? You don't get these here. Maybe, but I've never seen them. She held the box out to me and shook it so exactly one cig stuck out. Don't know how long she practiced that one, but it was impressive. Have you seen any of the adverts for these? No. They're very chic. Go on then, try it. I'd be curious to know what you think. What's your use? I usually smoke whatever low tars I can get my hands on. Gotcha. Not a big brand follower. Yeah. Me either, typically. Some people like to pit them against each other, but I'll try anything as long as I can like the look. Must be nice. She held out her ridiculous lighter out to me. The cig she'd given me, I don't know if I'd call it good, but it sure tasted more expensive than my usual. Like watches. Do you know anything about watches? I know they're for telling the time. I held up my wrist to show her my cheap digital watch. She exhaled smoke, but didn't respond. Sort of. I mean, they are. They aren't. You know what I mean? The jewelry, really. You should get a nicer one. Way too expensive. My dad has one from some spy movie he liked as a kid. I asked how much it cost one time, and I was so mad when he told me. How does he now? That'd be nice. That'd be a proper automatic. Digitals are so much cheaper. Why did that say question marks instead of weird lady? That was weird. I'm a bit biased, I suppose. She held up her arm. And pulled her sweater sleeve down to reveal her own watch. Or maybe I was supposed to be Alex that was speaking. It was bright gold, although the dial was shocking pink that I wouldn't have associated with the luxury brand name inlaid in gold. Holy shit. How much was that? Don't know, actually. But yeah, they accidentally changed Alex back to question marks. Got this one instead of cash for some work I did a while back. Okay, I gotta ask. What do you do? I suppose I'd call myself a flaneur, if anything. A passant, if we're being grammatically correct. So you're professionally French? She laughed. She leaned back in her seat and flicked up the little ashtray in the armrest so she could ash her cigarette. Technically, I'm in publishing. Everything about the woman is expensive. Even her watches. She says she works in publishing. I don't know what any of the other stuff she said was. Bit of a location scout, I think is the best way to describe it. Take special assignments. I travel a lot, I enjoy people watching. I had no idea publishers could afford that kind of lifestyle. There's loads of people out there buying books to not read, love. I laughed. Fair enough. So what have you actually read? I'd be curious to know if you'd seen any of mine. Well, I've skimmed Capital. Haven't we all? I like Chomsky. Any fiction? Don't have time for fiction. Oh, that stings. It's just, if I'm reading something, I want it to matter. Do other stuff for fun, I guess. She nodded thoughtfully. The captain came over the loudspeaker and announced something. It was impossible to tell what exactly thanks to the shitty mic. Plus, books are expensive. We've got to pick stuff that counts. Fiction like the news. I feel like I know how every story is going to go the second I read the first sentence. She pointed to me with her cigarette approvingly. We're not so different, then. I'll just come down on the other end, I suppose. But I get it. Who needs a book to tell you what you already know? But that's why I prefer fiction myself. Maybe you just need to read different kinds of fiction. I never know what I'm going to get. So, what kind of books do you publish anyway? I'm not the publisher, I'm just in publishing. So you're the heiress to a publishing company or something. She gave me a wicked grin. Like I said, I'd call myself a flaneur. A passant if we're being grammatically correct. At this point, it was around this point that the plane's engine started up. We put out our cigarettes and adjusted our seats to get ready for takeoff. You ever been on a plane before? First time. Don't let the bumpiness get to you. What the fuck was that? What was that? I don't understand. Huh? What are we doing here? Hey Darcy, what's up? Is there anything more weird shit like that? I think it's gone now, by the way. That image that we saw, it's gone now. Well, I'm glad we found that before I quit. Oh yeah, by the way, here's Moira, being mistaken for a demon. That was very strange. Oh no, it's here. It's here. Can we see it again? Will it let us see it again? There it is. Okay. Who is she? What is happening here? Oh, the full image, but you can't see it. You can't see the full image. That's unfortunate. How do you make it scroll? You can't make it scroll. This was its own image? Oh, they don't have the separate pieces or the weird expression that they made. What is this? Alright, well, I don't think we're gonna get anything else. Alright, guys, that's it. We found the secret, whatever the fuck that was. And now it's the end, and then we'll, I guess, move on to Misericorde Volume 2 eventually at some point. We'll see. That's not the plan yet. Saturday, we might have stream, we might not. If we do, it's gonna be Mysteries, or Messages from Outer Space, or whatever that one was called. Which is the puzzle game that has a lot of puzzles to solve. Apparently gets really fucking good. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. You can't see it, but every time I press outro, to go to the outro scene, I go like, put my hands up. I don't know why. Nobody can see it. I just do it to, like, I guess stretch. I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you all being here. While the rest of us on Twitch are gonna go find somebody to raid, it's gonna be Jammy. Or sorry, not Jammy. Coda. It's gonna be Coda. What is it? The rest of us on Twitch are gonna go raid Coda. What is it? This is the end of stream for YouTube. Hope you all have a good one. Let me know what you think, or like if you think it's be a good idea to continue Misericorde ASAP. I know that we've got a lot of, so the big plan is after the next week, which won't have any streams, or no planned streams. We might have them, but they're not planned. They're if they're there, they'll be a surprise to me and to everyone. We're gonna be doing more Messages from Outer Space, probably. Then we're going to eventually get around to doing Splatoon Raiders. I also kind of want to pick up Rhythm Heaven Groove, but I don't know if that's good for streaming. I will just fail everything if I do it for stream. I can't multitask rhythm games. But then after that, I don't think we'll have anything, so maybe we'll go to Misericorde Volume 2. Or we can, I don't know, play Bloodborne or Dark Souls 2 or something. I don't know. We got a lot of options. We'll see. But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but hopefully it'll be something neat. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Have a good one, YouTube. Later. Bye. I closed the wrong thing. Hold on a second. Get back here. Anyway, bye, YouTube.